It looks like all of the streams are ready to go. We'll go ahead and start in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal, depending on who you ask. Man, I don't like to even start off a live from the way we're going to present this, but I think there is a case to be made. So, we got to go where the news takes us. And in this case, the news is taking us in what I would refer to as a dark direction. But, you know, what we always say, we don't censor, we don't black ban or censor, and we try to deliver what's going on in the news. And what the topics are as they come in. And this one here, you see what I got on the screen behind me. I'm going to just simply be asking, we're going to be tackling this from a standpoint of, is it possible we have a killer on Pennsylvania Avenue? Someone who may potentially enjoy bestowing harm, if not lethal harm, on others. Now, I get that this, and I see in the comments, who said that? Agolf Twitter says, in fact, it smells of bullshittery. Well, and I can certainly understand that, but I'm going to get into it because, I would rather for this to be bullshit, as opposed to being anything near the truth. But I'm going to present what we have so far, and I want to hear from you folks because, unfortunately, it doesn't come across as much bullshittery as I would wish it would be. But we're talking about the possibility that we might have somebody in the White House that enjoys bestowing harm on others, lethal harm on others. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the show. Now, obviously, you guys are aware that we destroyed what we refer to as a drug boat down in Venezuela. So, and this is not just about what happened in Venezuela. We're going to make our case, but this is not just about what took place in Venezuela, but nevertheless, we will cover it since you guys are aware of it.
And the president posted this video on Truth Social this afternoon saying 11 members of the group were sailing toward the United States carrying illegal drugs. And attached to the video, he wrote, quote, "Please let this serve as notice to anyone even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware. Thank you for your attention to this matter." Multiple exclamation point.
Now, many folks on the right, supporters of Trump, and even some independents, maybe even a few Democrats, favor what President Trump did. You don't want people bringing illegal drugs and narcotics in this country. If Trump is trying to protect this country from drugs entering it, so be it. That's a good job. Consider it a win. Well, the problem is there's a lot of questions to be asked, and that's why we're titling this video. I mean, do we have a potential killer in the White House? Man, like I said, I hate to say it. If it's bullshittery, that's what we can certainly go with. But I'm just going to run down to you folks what we have. Now, according to his tweet he sent out when he did this, his truth post, earlier this morning on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a kinetic strike against positively identified Trinidad Agua narco-terrorists in the Southcom area of responsibility. TDA is a designated foreign terrorist. So TDA is Trinidad Agua. TDA is a designated foreign terrorist organization operating under the control of Nicolas Maduro, responsible for mass murder, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and acts of violence and terror across the United States and Western Hemisphere. The strike occurred while terrorists were at sea in international water transporting illegal narcotics heading to the United States. That's what we're going to be talking about. Transporting illegal narcotics heading to the United States. He continues on by saying the strike resulted in 11 terrorists killed in action. No U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. Please let this serve as notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Crazy thing is, he says it at the end of everything. You know, I got a shit. Could you bring me some toilet paper? Thank you for your attention to this matter. He puts that at the end of every post nowadays. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Gavin Newsom even mocked him by doing the same thing. Okay, so let's get into it. while we're talking about the potential of having a, I'm trying not to use the schmurder word over and over again on the app, but a schmurderer in the White House. I want to get down to why there may be a possibility that what Trump is doing is getting to be sinister. Now, in his own post, he says the strike occurred while terrorists were at sea in international waters transporting illegal narcotics heading to the United States. Let's be clear, folks. Now, if you've seen the actual clip that he posted of the boat, I'm trying to see if I can get it. I wish I had a way of putting it on a loop, but the boat that was destroyed, that's where the problem is. This boat that is being destroyed, it's a speedboat. Now, the folks analyzing this suggest that this speedboat is capable of, it's fast. It's on water, traveling 50 to 70 knots per hour. So 50 to 70 miles, it's like 51 miles an hour, 70 some odd miles per hour. But 50 to 70 knots is the capability of this vessel. And I see your comment. Joe Shalom says, getting to be sinister? What are you suggesting, that he's already there? I mean, because I see your quote. Getting to be sinister. I get it. So in other words, he's long already there. Okay. Joe Shalom, and thank you for your support. Now, this vessel, this speedboat, travels 50 to 70 knots. They suggest these type of boats can hold anywhere from 200 to 500 gallons of fuel. Now, at top speed, they burn fuel very fast, multiple outboard engines. They're suggesting they burn almost a gallon to 2 gallons of fuel per mile or per knot. So they're burning gas very, very quickly. I think you kind of know what I'm getting at. These vessels have a range in optimal conditions of between 300 and 600 nautical miles. So this boat can travel quite fast in quite a distance, 300 to 600 nautical miles. But here's the problem. Venezuela to the U.S. mainland, they're 1,729 miles apart. To the tip of Florida, Puerto Rico, all of that stuff down there, well over the range of this vessel. So when Trump says that they were in the process of bringing drugs to the United States, not on this thing they couldn't have done it. He took them out off the coast of Venezuela. They're probably they probably need to travel double the range of the capabilities of this vessel to get to where they're going. Now, there is a way to make it happen. There's two different ways where you might be able to do this. One, obviously carrying a ridiculous amount of extra fuel on board and gas cans and things like that. So you could probably, if you carried a ridiculous amount of fuel, because 200 to 500 gallons of fuel is what the thing carries. So you'd have to have a lot more fuel. But they got 11 souls on board. Not to mention some sort of drug payload, if you ask Trump. And all of that would obviously slow the vessel down significantly. If you were to put hundreds of extra gallons of fuel on board, you know how much liquid weighs. Then once you do that, the vessel is not going to travel anywhere near 50 to 70 knots, and the range is going to be affected by all the added weight of all of that fuel. But that's one way. The other way would obviously be to refuel at sea. So the boat would travel as far as it could, and there would be some kind of mothership out there that would refuel, and then it would continue on with the journey to the United States. The problem is the Trump administration hasn't proven any of that. They haven't shown any evidence of any of this stuff. Whereas they haven't shown any evidence for the simple thing is they haven't shown any evidence that this vessel was even capable of reaching the United States. I mean, this is clearly a vessel on its face that cannot reach the United States mainland. So for him to be suggesting that they were trying to bring drugs to America, the first thing he needs to prove is that this vessel had the capabilities of doing that. Obviously, you have not seen him do that. Now, if he knew for a fact that there was a mothership or something out there hovering a few hundred miles down the line, ready to refuel it, I suppose, but then you'd have to do a lot of proving in that as well. But I'm just going to say on its face, this is, when I say, a schmurder in the White House, this looks like straight schmurder. I mean, they're in international waters. There is absolutely no evidence that they were traveling from Venezuela to the United States. They could have been going from Venezuela to Trinidad, Venezuela to Colombia, Peru. They could have been going anywhere. America does not have the right to I'm trying not to say this word. They do not have the right to take the life of someone traveling in international waters from point A to point B if those destinations do not even include the United States. This vessel could have been leaving Venezuela and going anywhere else south of the border. America does not have the right to just destroy. So in other words, any vessel that is leaving Venezuela is fair game. So I want to know from you folks. I see I'm getting hammered in the comments on YouTube. So I said lunatic liberal Democratic Network. Greg, I appreciate your comment. You can't disprove if you're showing your ignorance regarding drug trafficking. Well, the problem is you got to actually show that they're drug traffickers. Right now, let me just ask them before we continue on, by way of yes or no in the comments. If Trump says I took out drug traffickers, by way of yes or no, do you need any proof from him at all that it's a drug trafficker? I just want to ask you folks that. If Trump says he had to take the life of someone because they were dealing or trafficking drugs, do you need him to show you any evidence at all, or do you just give him your blind trust? I just want to see what the comments, how you guys respond to that, because obviously he's provided no evidence. He's provided zero evidence to this. Does he need to provide any evidence at all? JC says, boo-hoo, Americans wake their coffee with. Okay, that doesn't answer any. I mean, listen, you want to joke about liberal tears. He says, boo-hoo, Americans make their coffee with liberal tears. That kind of sounds like a deflection from answering to the question, from answering the actual question. But if President Trump states that he took out drug traffickers, does he need to prove anything to you or the American people at all? Or do you simply take his word as being factual? That's what we're asking. A lot of now, my folks on YouTube, there are plenty of folks on YouTube saying no and yes. But it looks like TikTok, most of you folks do believe that the president should have to provide evidence of proof. And I'm going to assume that that's coming from Americans who do not want drugs in America that may believe President Trump. But I would assume every country south of the border is going to say, no, this guy needs to prove that he is killing people for a legitimate purpose. Because anybody could take off from the coast of Venezuela in a fishing boat and find themselves getting blown up. So I'm assuming Americans might say, yeah, we'll take Trump's word on face value. But all of those nations south of the border, they're going to want some evidence. If you're down here taking out boats and shit in the water, you got to show proof why you killing people. Anybody, there's all kinds of folks, that are sailing around down there. We need to know what you're doing is legit. Tim, you are 1,000,000% part of the problem. Thus, all has been obvious for years, says Joe Shalom. Well, Joe, when you say I'm 100% part of the problem and it's been obvious, what are you telling me? Perfection is what we're dealing with right now? I'm not going to pretend like that there's not a lot of drugs that come from south of the border that enter America. But that don't mean you just get to act with impunity because it's been a problem for years, as you say. I'm asking the question, if all of a sudden a boat or a vessel leaves or a plane leaves Venezuela and the U.S. government says that was a drug vessel, we had to kill it, we had to kill everybody on board. If you don't need any proof at all, you realize how much power that gives the commander-in-chief. But we're going to continue on. Like I said, the vessel shown here does not have the logistical capability to reach in the United States. So even if it is carrying drugs, there's absolutely no proof that those drugs were intended for the United States. There's zero proof, considering the fact that the boat is not even capable of reaching the U.S. mainland. So in addition to that, before we start taking calls and getting in the program, because like I said, I hate to paint the president in such a sinister light on this one, but unfortunately, this is something that they're boasting about doing. They took out 11 souls, and they haven't provided any proof at all whatsoever that those folks are doing anything criminal. And of course, it's going to also push out the obvious question of, since when has running drugs been an offense punishable by death? without due process. Keep in mind, these people, this is not like they were caught running drugs like you might be caught in Thailand or Cambodia, where they do sentence people to death, but they have a court hearing. You have due process. These men were executed for their crime, their alleged crime, without any due process at all. They just became judge, juror, and executioner on the spot. So these men had no way to prove or deny anything. Killed them on the spot. I don't even know if some of the harshest countries around the world do that. I mean, they all give you it may be a kangaroo court, but if you're caught running drugs in some of these third world countries, particularly in the Southeast Asian area, a lot of those countries do have the death penalty for dealing and running drugs. But you do get a court case. You do get some form of due process. These men did not. So, that, like I said, are we talking about the possibility of a murderer on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
My name is Josh Breslow, and I'm here for the next couple hours to bring you one of your top stories and live events from across the country and across the world. President Trump taking to social media here amid questions over when ramped up immigration efforts will begin in the city of Chicago. Chipocalypse now, the president just wrote on his Truth Social, an obvious play there on Apocalypse Now. This is a look at that post with an image of Trump saying, quote, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War."
So when I say, are we looking at the possibility of a murderer in the White House? Once again, here he is making references to war. And of course, he went above and beyond by posting a picture of him from the, looking somewhat from the clip in Apocalypse Now. Here is the actual post you see on the screen behind me. That's what he posted online. So it's a picture of him looking like the character from the movie Apocalypse Now, but it says Shy Apocalypse Now, like Chicago, Shy Apocalypse Now. Obviously you see in the background, there's pictures of Hueys. I mean, it seems straight out of Vietnam. There's pictures of Hueys, and then of course there's burning, I guess would be napalm in the background. But oddly enough, if you look over to the side of him, that is indeed the skyline of Chicago. So that is not Vietnam behind him. I mean, I'm from Chicago, so I recognize the John Hancock building and many other structures in that picture. So he is literally posting a picture of him sitting outside what appears to be Chicago in flames. Murderer in the White House. So when I ask you that, murderer, what is this? Why would a president of the United States go on social media and post a picture of one of his own cities burning in rubble while he's saying, "I love the smell"? Why would this is one of his own. This isn't Fallujah. This is not Kabul. This is not Moscow. That is an American city with an American president making some sort of mockery of that city due to his actions becoming smoldering rubble. Why would he do that? A murderer in the White House. That's what we're going to talk about. So for folks who suggest, well, you liberals are part of the problem, there's no liberal on board that made him put that out there. Not one liberal made him. We remember Black Lives Matter, the Summer of Love, cities burning down and all that. He's actually mocking the notion that he's going to be responsible for doing that. Literally posting a picture of Chicago fully ablaze. So anyway, looking in the comments, and I see Kevin Nutsberg, I think he says, "Bravo, Donald Trump." And I do agree with you, Jojo, the way he's talking, it looks like he wants war. So going straight to the comments and then on to the box. By the way, tap the screen. You know how the program is ran. We are indeed MAGA friendly. We don't get as many MAGA guests because sometimes we're critical of Trump. He is the president, just like we were critical of President Biden when he was the president. So a lot of MAGA don't like to hear the president criticized, but this is an open forum free speech program. You can be critical of anyone on this damn program without any concern of being blocked, banned, or censored, including yours truly. We let the guests speak. We go left of Bernie Sanders till I'm having a dinner with Q. So no one is getting censored here. We don't work like that. We don't have any moderators or any of that. Other than some folks getting a bit too crazy sometimes, occasionally somebody just decides to keep typing the N-word over it. Don't listen. I'm not gonna let somebody say something that's so stupid the damn fucking apps end up censoring the program. But as far as I'm concerned, you can say whatever the hell you want. So that's how we do it. Anyway, looking in the comments, you cheap offshoot of pathetic Rolling Martin, is she sponsoring you? Okay, that's a whole lot in there. Says you cheap offshoot off of pathetic Rolling. Okay, you mean like Roland, Rolan, the guy who's on social media? I don't watch Roland's show, but most of the stuff I watch is right wing podcast. So I'm an offshoot of Roland Martin. I take it as a compliment. He got millions of followers. But Roland is a man, and you say, is she sponsoring you? That's a guy. Anyway, thank you for the input, though. Republicans are pro-guns, the Dems are against guns, and have taken them from their cities. Silly. That's Tim Wright. That is 100% false. There is no liberal city in America where you can't own a gun. There may be preventions from you owning a 100-round drum or so. If you just want something that fires projectiles via gunpowder in a barrel, there is no liberal city that prevents you from getting something, whether it's a shotgun or something. There is no liberal city in America that prevents you from owning any kind of firearm. So that is what they refer to as a right-wing talking point. Let me go ahead and get to the program. We'll start out with Captain America. Good evening, Captain. Welcome to the program. Is it wrong to suggest that Trump is starting to look kind of sinister, or he's seeming to take pleasure in potentially being lethal to people?
Fuck no, that's not wrong. Are you kidding me? Is this anything new? Honestly?
Well,
he has full reins now.
I don't.
You know what I'm saying? Like he has.
Well, when you say is it anything new? I've never seen him, even President Trump, post a picture of one of his own cities in rubble while he's sitting there admiring the damage. I've never seen him do that before.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's got free reign now.
Yeah.
He doesn't have another term to worry about. He's got both Senate and House locked down. I mean, what can he do wrong at this point?
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely insane that he would post something like that, man. Like that is, you're basically touting civil war.
Yeah. But why? I get MAGA. All my YouTube pages are most of my YouTube stuff is a lot of MAGA. I like talking to MAGA. I enjoy talking to them. But MAGA is overwhelmingly satisfied. They like this. I'm getting a lot of folks that are cheering Trump on for doing this. Why do you think MAGA favors this?
Man, I really think it's one of those situations where you make a mistake and you don't want to admit you're wrong, so you just got to stick with it. I think that's what it is for most of these people. There are some that still love him and would follow his coattails no matter what, but for the most part, I think the majority of his voters right now either have admitted that they were wrong or they don't want to admit they're wrong.
Well, I get a lot of folks that are still telling me Trump is the best president we've ever had. I mean, I don't get a lot of MAGA there. I got a viewer right now, Phoebe 1300, I think that says, or something like that, says deport black people to Africa. So,
man, you know that boat that they took out. They actually went down there to make sure that the bodies were deceased, and they punctured the lungs so that they would sink to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, that's I think that's a different story. We covered that yesterday. That was
was a different one.
That was North Korea. SEAL Team 6 went to try to plant a listening device. So they shot up a fishing boat, and once the SEAL team shot up a fishing boat, they boarded it, made sure everybody was dead, and they stabbed them each in the lungs when they threw their bodies overboard. This here, where they just blew them all up to smithereens, I don't think they needed to go and check these bodies. I mean, they weren't even intact.
Yeah, I guess people must be mixing up the two stories there or something, because,
we covered that one yesterday.
I just don't know where we're at anymore. I don't know what we're doing.
Now you mentioned you mentioned the photo he posted of him with the city of Chicago smoldering in ruins. You're saying that this is somewhat of akin to a civil war. Do you believe that President Trump wants that in this nation? He wants us to be fighting each other using lethality?
I wouldn't doubt if they want the South to secede from the North. I mean, that's something that's been wanted. Yeah, the South to secede from the North.
The South is
Something
the
they've been
poor.
wanting.
The South is the poorest part of this country. Why would they want to secede at this point? I mean, unless they're going to bring back slavery, which is what made them
Because
have
I was
wealth.
about to say because of racism and I mean not just that, but sexism and all that shit. Yeah, I mean I think it's pretty obvious that that party, for the most part, still believes that a white male is superior. I get it all the time on my live. I get them coming in all the time, and it might take them a minute to admit it, but eventually they'll end up admitting that yeah, you know, white people are the superior race.
I think out of the 4 or 5 years I've been doing this, I think I've only had 1 or 2 guys, and I don't mind. I'll let people say whatever they want to say. I've only had 1 or 2 people come on the program and actually admit they believe that whites are superior. Usually, what I get, as opposed to whites being superior, is that blacks or Hispanics are inferior. 13% of the population, 50% of the crime, dropouts. It's usually more from a standpoint of blacks being inferior. But hearing somebody say that whites are superior, I think I've only had maybe 1 or 2 guests do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know exactly what their reason would be, but I do know that it's been something. I mean, the South has wanted this ever since they seceded to begin with. They want their territory back. They want their laws back. I mean, there's some states down here like Oklahoma where they still teach that shit in school like it was a good thing.
They teach secession as if it was a good thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Here in Oklahoma.
Wow. I first thing I want to know is what would have been good about secession other than maintaining the ability to own people, because without free labor, the South is not going to do very well. I mean, the world is no longer agriculture based like that, so you can't go back to the 1800s. That time is gone.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that they want to own people, but like you're saying, like what other reason would they have?
Yeah.
I mean, they already have their gun rights. They already have just about every right that they would want, right? Is there a right that these?
Well, yeah, there's still some rights. If they seceded, and I mean, based on what you're saying, it would be kind of a far right country in itself. Then you're going to have, now, because listen, I know how far, people believe the left is far left and woke and how all of that shit goes, abortions in the 9th month or whatever. Well, far right does exist. A far right society, women are not going to be equal. So women would probably lose voting rights and maybe some of the other rights and privileges, like being able to run a business and own a bank. There are far right countries on the planet. For folks who think I'm full of shit, there are far right countries on the planet. Look how they're ran, and you'll quickly notice that minorities and women do not get treated properly. I mean, they get treated less than equal. I mean, it may not be a black and white thing. It might be Sunni and Shiite. It might be Serbs and Croats, whatever the case may be. But when you have a far right society, the minority population is usually treated as less than equal. So you would also have religion is very common in far right societies. You get religion forced upon you. You don't really have the right to the freedom of religion or even absence of religion. So religion would be the order of the day in an area like that. I'm trying to see what else you would see. I mean, because they're going to be controlling various aspects of your life. But I would start out with the reduction in freedoms for women and minorities, Christianity for all. The LGBTQ community would be outlawed pretty much. I mean, that doesn't exist in any far right society. They just don't tolerate that.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff that would happen if you had a secession.
When we talk about owning people, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to be any one specific race of people. The way I see it, I feel like these tech industries are taking over. And these tech industries, I think their end goal is free labor. I really do. I think that's what's going on right now. You know what BlackRock is, right?
I hear it all the time, yeah.
So the shooter, Thomas, what was his name? Thomas Pitt? The one that shot at Trump?
Yes. The guy who pierced his ear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy is in several BlackRock commercials. Tell me that's not a little bit weird. On top of all of the other scandalous shit that's going on with that whole ordeal.
So this guy, he was only like 20 years old, wasn't he? Appreciate that hat. Thank you, C. Osby. Yeah, he was only
around there.
Yeah, he's
Like,
been in all those
Black
commercials.
Rock.
He's been in all those BlackRock commercials, and he's barely 20 years old.
No, not all of them. He's been in a couple of them.
This is the first time hearing of this. So you are in.
I'll send you.
Yeah,
I'll
send me.
send it to you in your DM.
Yeah. So you're in the camp that, as opposed to somebody who just truly had a beef with President Trump, there may be something more conspiratorial, maybe something made up, maybe a pretend assassination. Is that where you're going with this?
Yeah, man, and a lot of people are like, well, but why would they do that? Why would they, unalive an innocent person? Do you all really think that the government isn't dirty enough to do that?
Well,
Seriously.
we're talking about a murderer in the White House now, so they're capable of doing it. Absolutely, you see what they're doing right now in Venezuela.
Yeah, and I mean, ears don't regenerate, my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's as simple as that. They don't fucking regenerate. There's not a mark on his ear. Nothing. And they're like, oh, well, maybe it was a piece of the teleprompter. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, his ears do look normal. He doesn't look. I mean, he doesn't have because we've all seen mixed martial arts fighters with the cauliflower ear and things like that. You're right, they don't regenerate. Or the people who get the big ass gauges, the big hole in their ear and it's hanging, they have to have surgery. I mean, you're right, it doesn't regenerate. When they get those big holes in their ear, it doesn't go away. But for some reason with Trump, an AR bullet just healed itself.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure you saw that they're wanting to take away gun rights from LGBTQ. Have you seen that?
No. What did he use? Mental illness as a reason?
Yeah, mental illness as a reason. And my thing is if they can take it away from them, they're not going to stop there.
No.
They're going to end up taking it away from African Americans because they're too violent. They're going to end up taking it away from, Middle Eastern people because, they're typically terrorists or whatever the case may be. They're going to find ways and reasons to be able to take
Where did you hear this thing? Because I agree with you 100%. If they are allowed,
this came straight from Mike Johnson.
Wow.
This came straight from Mike Johnson.
If they are allowed to deem members of the LGBTQ community as mentally ill, and therefore they can take their fight, because they're trying to deem TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, as a mental illness. So that would mean that anybody who's a critic of them could lose their firearms.
Yeah. Now tell me it doesn't seem like we're headed towards some sort of civil war.
Not if
he's attacking nothing but blue cities and states. He's taking away rights from people who are obviously on the opposite political spectrum as him.
Well, MAGA is still adamant that ain't nobody lost any rights under Trump.
MAGA, maybe they should be checked for mental illness. Maybe they should have their guns taken away because, and Mike Johnson, what was it that Mike Johnson was talking about today where he was saying, he said that Trump, it was something about the Epstein stuff. Oh, he said Trump was an FBI informant.
Yeah. Well, you know my take.
Tim, how many excuses are they going to come up with, my man?
It don't matter.
How much shit are we going to go through? Here's the thing: if they would have started with that, if that's what they would have started with, they would have just said, "Hey, Trump was an FBI informant." That's fine. But when you make 4 fucking excuses in front of it, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, he was an FBI informant," get the fuck out of here.
Well,
you're lying.
You already know my stance on it. While I feel quite confident that there's something about Epstein's information that Trump does not want to get out, whereas he might be guilty and involved in some of that. The fact is, I don't think that shit matters to MAGA. I think MAGA sees Trump as doing so many things that are right for America that they're going to look at it like, okay, look, I'm not going to throw him under the bus for this one little thing. Yeah, I don't like what happened. I wish he had to release the information. But all of this other stuff he's done great for America, I'm not going to throw him under the bus just for this. So I don't think he really has to release it.
I've had someone actually tell me in my live that even if he was in those files, they would still support him as president because he's doing such a good job that wouldn't matter.
Exactly what I just said. Middle of Fifth Avenue. Yeah, I got to move it on, Captain America. But I agree with that. I don't even know the person, but I agree with them 100%. I don't think Trump has to release anything related to Epstein. The support is still going to be there. Yeah, look, I'm not totally happy they didn't release this, but overall, I think he was a fantastic president. That's what you're going to hear, so it doesn't matter. And he knows that. Middle of Fifth Avenue. Captain, Appreciate you coming through.
All I got to say is we better get our shit together before we lose our rights. And also Jon Stewart 2028. Take care, Tim.
I ain't heard shit from Jon Stewart either, by the way.
It better happen, goddammit. All right, my man.
How about can I sing you a hat?
Actually, you know what? I was going to touch on that, actually. I'm actually impressed with Gavin Newsom. I'm not going to lie. I'm still not fully on board with him. You know, some of his policies in California are a little, yeah. But as far as his trolling and his ability to get under Trump's skin, it's fucking perfect. No one's been able to do that like him.
Yeah, sounds like Gavin about to go to federal prison. I gotta move it on. Appreciate it. All right. And I'm just, I'm joking, obviously, but anybody that criticizes and chastises Trump, it is what it is. Trump is obviously exceptionally vengeful. Exceptionally. Name one good thing Donald Trump has done for America. Just name one, says Bruce. Securing the border. Securing the border has been a good thing. I think most Americans favor that. I always bring up protecting the integrity of women's sports. That's another one. I don't think it affects hardly anybody, but fact is most Americans do not want biological males playing against girls in sports. That's something he has done that is good for America. Most people do not disagree with preventing biological males from playing against girls in sports. And of course, most Americans do believe the border should be secure, and most Americans do not think Biden was doing a good job at that. So I'll give you those two. In the comments, hey Bruce, what it says, Jason says, makes liberals cry. No men in dresses in military, no women in bathrooms and sports. Well, I think he's going to do you say no men in dresses in military. I think he's going to successfully do that, Jason. But in regards to the notion of no women in bathrooms and sports, the bathroom thing, you're not going to be able to stop. Let me just be candid with you folks. I'm gonna come at you locker room talk style. We'll go back and take the next caller. By the way, tap the screen. I haven't solicited that at all. Get us on up to 20,000 likes. We can certainly do that if you let your thumbs not be lazy. Tap the screen. If you're watching us on YouTube or TikTok live as well, feel free to follow the program if you enjoy civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We go left of Bernie Sanders to having dinner with Q. We are MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests. If you want to call in, either go to The Handsome Liberal on Instagram or The Handsome Liberal on TikTok. We'll bring you up. Doesn't matter what your politics is. Doesn't matter how critical you are of anyone, including yours truly. We let everybody speak. We'll give you plenty of time to get your point across. I don't ever claim to get it all right. You may know more than I do, so maybe I want to talk to you. But real quick in the comments, keeping women out of the bathrooms you're talking about. There's no way to do that. Just giving it to your locker room talk. There's a bunch of ugly ass bitches out here. You can't go. There's a bunch of women out here that got mustaches and all kinds of shit, but they are born biologically a woman. You go fuck with somebody and try to prevent an actual woman from going in a female bathroom, you're committing all sorts of crimes yourself. So trying to block people from going into bathrooms, that is an avenue to get yourself in a whole lot of trouble. There are men that look like women, even though they're genuinely men, and there are women that look like men, even though they are genuinely women, and it has nothing to do with them being part of the LGBTQ community. Some people just are born looking feminine or born looking masculine. So you start fucking with people and preventing them from entering bathrooms and shit like that, or starting fights with them, you're getting yourself in a lot of trouble. Looking at the comments, Trump was proud of that. Means anti-war, then anti-war. I don't know what you mean by that. Trans derangement syndrome is a MAGA epidemic. Comeback, Agoff. That's a good comeback. I can't disagree with that. Going back to the box, and appreciate some of you folks that sent the hat. I did set a goal, 20 of those little hats. Show your boys some love. Support the program. It does help maintain some of this shit. Tiny piece of appreciation. I do appreciate those who have sent that. Trump is a great president, just different from the previous presidents. When he rises above the party. Well, the problem is posting a picture of yourself, admiring Chicago and smoldering ruins. Many would suggest that's not the makings of a great president, but perhaps you think differently. Let me go to the box. Continuing on with the program, we'll go to, what does that says? Real Talk. Good evening, Real Talk.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. What am I getting wrong this evening? The president is posting a picture of himself standing over the ruins of Chicago. What say you?
Yeah, you know, that dude is different, man. OFK should be like that. Like, you know, he just won't clout or whatnot. He want to pretend like he's this big tough guy or whatnot like that. Just try to make it seem like, you know, like with the Russia thing. OFK
Wait. But Russia, but real talk, Russia is an enemy of the United States. This is one of his own cities.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, you want to seem tough. OFK should be like that. You know?
So do you take a photo with? Do you take a MAGA photo, maybe standing on your wife's back like she's George Floyd because you want to be tough?
I mean, you don't crap on your own people, man. You know, if this is supposed to be the golden age and America is supposed to be back, that's clearly showing that America is not back and it's still in turmoil. From my perspective, OFK should be like that.
This is actually.
And it was.
Go ahead.
It was something else I had wanted to touch on too, right? Because I saw that Mike Johnson little host where he was saying like Trump was an informant or whatever case should be like that, and it turned him in. Now the crazy part of me would be about that because it's like they don't even do their research to find out if there's something good that we could say. Because I remember when Trump was on Air Force One and he was asked about like why did he fall out with Epstein, he clearly said that because he was still in his people. So, I mean, did Trump forget that he was an FBI informant?
No.
Or like what?
No, you know what's going on. This used to happen when Sarah Huckabee Sanders had Carolyn Leavitt's job in his first term. Fact is, people that are around Trump want the best for President Trump. They know he says stuff that's crazy sometimes, and they try to come up with ways of finagling his words to make a defense for him. Trump is the one that is just saying whatever the fuck he wants. So they're trying to correct stuff, and then they don't realize he's liable to come right behind you and say something crazy again. That's why it looks like the whole thing is not fitting together well, because they're all calculating and trying to think ahead before they speak, because many of them are attorneys and things like that. Trump is just saying whatever the fuck he wants. And so he is the one that is putting the fly in the ointment to folks who are trying to speak on his best interest.
But that means that proves that they are lying then, because Trump is the one saying what he is actually doing, and they was covered for. And the crazy part to be about that, like, why doesn't his supporters actually see that? Like, why they try to pretend like these kind of things are not going on? It's just like when you were talking the other day, you were talking about how they just bombed that boat. Like we don't even know what was on it, what was going on, or whatnot like that. You just bombed the boat. But I remember when Obama had ordered a bomb strike or whatever, they had unalived some people. You know, I mean, they was all in the uproar about it.
It's politics.
And it was supposed to be.
It's politics. Trump is doing things that they wouldn't favor, but they're okay with it because he's doing things that people they don't like. They don't like Chicago. They're not a big fan of Venezuelan drug dealers or illegal immigrants. So if it's those people, you can kind of do whatever you want, and MAGA's going to turn a blind eye to it because you're taking out people that we think are bad anyway.
And it goes back. I also had wanted to touch on something for a long time. It's when you were talking to MAGA Reacts and talking about the unaliving ratio and stuff like that. And he was talking about how he lived in Miami. You know, and he goes everywhere in Miami and stuff like that. Now, I had found that crazy because I'm born and raised from Miami. And I was one of those in my old life. I was one of those ones that was out there in them streets of Miami, Dade County 305 all the way line. OFK should be like that. And what he was saying was totally untrue. Because if you was living in overtime like I did, Poker Bean Project, Brown Sub, Opalaka, or whatnot like that, it goes down in there. There was times, literally, when tourists came through there and they knew that was tourists and they was asking for directions, you had got a direction to go in and that wasn't the one they was looking for. So for him to sit there and say like he just rides around there and everything is all great, he one of them people that stay in the house all the time.
Back in my 20s and 30s, I was in Miami and I went hollering at some chicks in the Pork and Bean projects, and I knew when I was there, like, I mean, they're like little row houses and shit. I knew back then, like, but I'm from Chicago, so we got Otta B. Wells and Altgeld Gardens. We got a whole lot of them little row where we had them. They don't tore a lot of them down, but we had the same thing in Chicago. So if you're from the hood, you know when you in the hood, no matter where you at.
For sure.
Yeah, and so
these apartments, Back in the when I was a little kid, we had these apartments called they were called Aswan Apartments. They redid them now. They was in Opelika, 135th Street, no 132nd and 27th Avenue. But back in that days when I was growing up as a little kid, you know what I'm saying? People was getting unalived every day.
Yeah.
OFK should be like that. Like
all you gotta do is watch. Most of the first few seasons of the first 48 was filmed all over Miami.
Exactly, and there was two places that always showed: Poker Bean Projects and Overtime. Okay, because them the areas where it went down good. Now, when you talk about like Doral and the good areas and stuff like that, they patrolling them things heavy. You know, there was one time I was walking up the street in Doral because I worked at a garbage dump, and you know there was people, jogging and riding bikes up and down the block. It was broad daylight, but I was the only one that looked like me. So the detectives came down the street, pulled over, cut me off. First thing one of them said was, "What you doing around here?" Ooh. So it just I'm saying that to say it went on longer than that. It was horrible. Yeah. But sitting there saying that if you was in these areas like that you wouldn't know what goes on in the hood.
But let me ask you this: now that we got Trump in office, as rough as you're saying Miami was, would you support putting the National Guard on the streets of Miami to cure? Because this is what the right is saying. If you don't want the National Guard to come in, that means the Democrats are for crime. This is what they're saying.
No, I wouldn't say send the National Guard down there. What I would say is put opportunities down there. Give people a chance to make better money. Because some jobs higher down there, but back in those times when I was there, but if you didn't know nobody, you getting the low-end jobs. Like, for an example, like there was a time where I was doing construction, like demolition, throwing boulders for $8 an hour, digging holes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So if they invest in these communities that's down there and show people that there's a better way, then, things will be better. But just sending in, it's like you said one time before, what the criminals going to do, when the block is hot, they know it's time to go in. Because the block hot right now, or case should be like that. But when them boys get out of there, then we going right back to business. Yeah. And it doesn't fix the problem with all you doing is making people feel some kind of way. You're not showing that you are trying to help them. Now, like the police officer, there was a time down there, the city of Miami was under investigation for corruption. The city of Miami Department of Police was under investigation for corruption. The chief had to resign or whatever case should be like that. There was a time when this was Metro Dade, when the dude had got pulled over right across the street from a cousin's house. Police, two officers searching his car, found a whole OZ of green. Okay, should be like that. Told the dude to walk off. The dude walked off, but he came back or whatnot like that. But by the time he came back, the two officers were standing out there blowing what he had, smoking what he had. And when he walked up, the police officer looked at him, and my people watching this, the police officer looked at him and said, "Didn't we tell you to walk off? You better not come back." OFK should be like that. Yeah. So we need to fix the things that's going on that's making these problems.
Yeah, it's interesting you would say that, because somebody in the comments, I lost where it was, but they were saying that why do we have to only have two options, either live with crime or have the military come in? The individual's trying to indicate there's got to be other solutions than just live with military or live with crime. I think you kind of alluded to it. Opportunities, jobs, salaries, rec centers, all of these things, because everybody knows, no matter what, I'm Gen X. Now, during the Gen X era, we weren't shooting each other up. But if you gave kids idle times, equal idle hands, we would do shit like go around spray painting stuff, maybe break windows, maybe playing with fire and shit like that. If you don't give these kids something to do, because most of these folks that are committing these crimes are damn near juvenile. They're probably 14, 15, a lot of these carjackings, if you don't give them something to do, that's where a lot of this comes from. So just simply flooding the area with law enforcement, as you and I both agree, once the law enforcement goes away, because you haven't addressed the root problem of why the crime took place to begin with, it's just going to come back. But I think the problem, though, is, or better yet, the benefit for Trump is, people are only going to see the here and now there, real talk, that if he sends the military and crime comes down, they're not thinking of the future. They're going to just see it as Trump brought crime down. That's all they're going to see. And when the next liberal or somebody comes in and makes the military go away, that liberal is going to be responsible for crime coming back up.
Yeah, because they just want something good to brag about Trump about. OFK should be like that. And when that changed, they gonna come up with the next thing. It's just like before. I was just on True Social talking to some of his supporters and whatnot like that, and they were talking about him changing the name to the Department of War.
Yeah.
Now, I remember a time, like I told one of his supporters, I remember a time when it was this big brag about no new wars. No new war. So now we okay with it now because it's something to brag on Trump about, like changing names. Like right now they changed the department to the Department of War. And sir, I had just got a whole big raise. I'm about to go buy me a new car. Like what is this really doing for me or whatnot like that? Like we got prices that's going up or whatever the case should be like that. But he's talking about like prices are way down. Look at the job numbers now that just came out. Now apparently he supposed to have fired that last person because they was fudging the numbers, but now they got these numbers come out. He's talking about the numbers. The real numbers is gonna be like a year away. OFK should be like that. So what are we gonna do from now into a year away to find out what's going on? They talking about bringing manufacturing jobs. I was watching Fox News a while ago, and they seemed like they were struggling trying to report that how bad the job numbers was. But it's like people don't look at, they don't research what's really going on. They listening to Trump out of Trump's mouth. If everything is going good, look at the farmers in Arkansas, the ones who have voted for him. Or if we talking, look at the story they tell them, how they losing farms and going bankrupt.
I think the problem is people tend to, that's why I like to have a program where I let everybody speak from all sides of the aisle, because the fact is most people watch media that thinks and speaks the stuff that they want to hear. If you lean right, you probably watch right-wing media. If you lean left, you probably watch left-wing media or left-wing podcasts. The right watches right-wing podcasts. And the problem with doing that is everybody wants their team to win. So right now with Trump in office, just like when Biden was in office, it wasn't a whole lot of left-wing podcasts or media talking about his cognitive health was failing. They're going to paint him in a good light. That's what's happening with Trump. If you, like you said, Fox News was struggling to Fox News knows if they're honest about the job numbers, they may get a phone call from Trump and all of a sudden he's at rallies talking about how that network is a bullshit network. So they don't want that to happen. So Fox News is going to be real hesitant to tell you anything negative about Trump. And that applies to most of the right-wing podcasters and things like that. Because the minute you do that, they start calling you a rhino and start coming after you. So you're not going to, you're always, if you watch right-wing media, the overwhelming reports are going to be favorable to Trump. Anything he does that's negative is either going to be not mentioned or blamed on somebody else. Like Kennedy right now is fucking up big time.
Yeah,
Kennedy's fucking up. But when Kennedy finally gets axed, Trump ain't going to get held responsible for that, even though he appointed him. They're going to say it was Kennedy's fault. I'll give you the last word. I do got to move on, though.
So they always blame other people or whatnot like that. But to the simple fact is, when they blame it, and I'll let my plane with this. When they blame other people, do they remember when they were saying that we need to know who's in charge? When Biden was in there, who's in charge or whatnot like that. So now it just seems like, who's in charge again? Okay, say about that. Thanks for having me on.
It changes, depends on who's in office. That's what's called playing politics. Real talk, appreciate the talk. Thank you. All right, moving on with the program, by the way, tap the screen, folks, get the likes on up. I had to put on my damn spectacles. I can barely see what the numbers are. 21. Tap the screen, get us up to 31,000. Y'all can make that happen if you let your thumbs not be lazy. What does that say? Goose. Suave's 007 says, Fox News is not true right-wing media. Yeah, it is. Now, it's not far right-wing media. I mean, what do you want? I guess you want to watch InfoWars or what was Alex Jones' program? I forgot what it was called. I mean, Fox News is right-wing. It ain't far right. It's everything about Fox News is pro-right-wing. Just think about what the right wing stands for. Fox News is in favor of all of that stuff. They're just not far right. So I think, just like CNN tends to lean left, they're not far left. So, and I know you guys think every liberal network is far left, but there's a difference between leaning right, far right, leaning left, far left. And Fox News is right. It's just not, and I see in the comments, Mike says it's far right. I don't think it's quite far right. I don't think, because they do put liberals on there. I watched the five. What is outnumbered? I mean, they do put some liberals on there. So I don't know if I would say Fox News is far right. Let's say you're going from 0 to 10, 10 being far right. I would put Fox at about a 7. So I don't see him as far right. You can definitely go further to the right than Fox News. Nick Fuentes type shit. You can go further to the right than Fox. Fox has called out Trump many times, especially during his first term. They ain't doing it now, though. When Fox News was calling Trump out, they were promoting other right-wing candidates. Fox News was not originally for Trump. I think, who were they promoting first? Jeb Bush? Then I think they started jumping on DeSantis or something like that. But right now, everything Fox News covers about Trump is favorable. They're not, which is why you had to bring up that they were calling him out in his first term. They're not calling him out on shit now. So they're not far right, though. I don't think they are. Anyway, Fox News is far right state TV, says Tim Carlton. I don't think they're far right. I've said that, but I do believe they're the closest thing to state TV we've ever had. I do believe Fox News is pretty damn close to state TV. That I'll agree with. Bill O'Reilly, I used to have a clip I could cue up, but Bill O'Reilly actually stated that since he said when he was working at Fox News, and I'll go to the box shortly, tap the screen, which should be around 30,000. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Shout out to those sitting in the hat and mustache. Bill O'Reilly stated that, he left in 2017. He said when he was on air with Fox, he said about 67% of their viewers were conservative, and they had an ample amount of independents and some liberals. I've been watching Fox since the late 90s, so I was one of those folks that leaned kind of left watching Fox. But he stated now Fox News is about 95% conservative, and 90% of them are MAGA. That's what Bill O'Reilly said. And then he concluded by saying, if you're Trump, this is great. He said Fox News is basically the Trump network. That's what Bill O'Reilly said, who's a long-term friend of Trump. He came out and admitted that. I can find a clip on YouTube pretty quick if I had to, but yeah, he even admitted that. Shout out to you, who said that? Lord Adam Vader. That's a long name. Thank you, Lord. I don't know if I should bow down and pray. Appreciate you helping me get to my goal with the hat and mustache. Thank you. So look at it in the comments. Carlos, you love Biden. We get it. All Democrats have to do is be more center. You would never have to deal with this. Yeah, well, if the liberals go more to the center, they're going to get fucked over by all of the folks that are to the left of them. Just like if you get somebody like Nikki Haley or somebody that may be closer to the center from the right-wing side of the aisle, you're going to get fucked with by all of the folks that are far right. There's a lot of far right folks that didn't like Nikki Haley taking down the Confederate flag at the state capitol and shit like that. Just like there's a whole bunch of folks on the left that don't like how Joe Biden maybe handled Hamas and stuff like that. So you go close to the center, then the people that's on your flank going to come up. Going back to the box, we'll go straight to Mike. Good evening, Mike. Welcome to the program. So you think Fox is far right, huh? We'll give it a minute to come. There we go. Mike, good evening.
Hey, what's up, Tim? No, of course I think they're far right. Matter of fact, they spread a lot of misinformation, which is why they got sued, and they had to pay that big settlement. And then they themselves went back and said this is just for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. I agree with the latter. I don't think they're far right. I think they're pro-Trump. I think it's like Bill O'Reilly said. I think they're the Trump network. Because I don't think Trump is totally far right. Trump goes wherever Trump thinks is opportunistic for Trump.
Trump's a fascist. Trump's a fascist. So let's stop all of the equivocating. Trump's a fascist. Even that picture behind you that you had up about Shypocalypse, he had on a Confederate hat, Tim. Let's stop fucking around. He had on a Confederate hat, Tim.
I didn't know that.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a Confederate hat. And so let's stop equivocating on all this shit. If people still ride with them, they're the racist fascists, and it's as simple as that. Period.
He's obviously hold on.
Thing, man.
He's obviously taking this as from a clip. I love the smell of napalm in the morning from the movie Apocalypse Now. Was the character in Apocalypse Now wearing a Confederate hat though?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, Tim.
Okay.
But here's the thing, Tim. And this is why I push back with you on this shit. he's the president of the United States.
Right.
If he's not sure about what he's posting, if he doesn't understand the origin of shit he's posting,
we agree with
and
this.
they just dismiss it, as, well, that's just Trump being Trump. Well, you guys don't have a whole lot of standards for leaders. But I don't believe that's what it is. I believe that they're racist. I believe that it's coming out, and people to the point where people can't defend it anymore. But there's a lot of people that like it because they're racist and they're fascist.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start. I'll start out by agreeing with that. And we'll talk about the racist part, but I agree with if you're okay with this. Listen, anybody who's okay with him doing this, or you see this and laugh, or you like this, you have no damn reason whatsoever to ever fucking talk about Trump derangement syndrome. If you wonder where Trump derangement syndrome comes from, and you don't see shit like this causing it, then that's something internal to yourself. You want people to like Trump. You don't understand why people just hate him for no reason at all. But then you look at some shit like this where he's painting an American city in smoldering rubble, and you don't understand, well, why do people hate him? He's such a good president. He's literally making fun of an American city, the third largest city in America, 3 million people damn near, in smoldering rubble. So just understand when you folks are talking about Trump derangement syndrome, it originates from shit like this. But why don't they see that?
They do see it, Tim. You listen, it takes a special kind of person to admit they're racist. Like Gen X. Like Gen X likes to hide behind the other things. But Gen X he's a racist. I mean, there's no question about it. And I can see it.
I gotta get Gen X on here. Now you say he's a Proud Boy, but Gen X says that the Proud Boys have black, people of color in it too.
But here's the thing, Tim. There is nothing about the Proud Boys that gets represented about equality and diversity. Come on, let's just stop with the fuckery. We know what it is, because if people that are proud of those things, and represent those things, they show those things. They're an organization. Organizations have mission statements. Organizations have things.
I asked him that though. He gave me. I don't recall it right now. Hopefully you'll watch and I'll get him back on here. But he gave me the mission statement of the Proud Boys, and he was talking about helping people and doing things for the community.
I know that's what they say. I mean, the KKK was saying the same shit. Let's just be clear. Listen, unless you are Aryan or some of these far right groups that don't care, they're just going to put it out there and say, we don't give a shit. They always equivocate.
How about this? But how about this? In my comments, John Muser points out, he's talking about Enrico. I forgot his last name, but he says the leader of the Proud Boys is brown. So
he's assimilated to whiteness. Next question.
So you mean like he's like a George Zimmerman?
He's assimilated to whiteness. Yeah. Next question. Absolutely. Yeah. He's assimilated to whiteness. He doesn't believe that those rules apply to him because he doesn't see himself as that. He sees himself as assimilating to whiteness. Next question.
All right. I'll leave it at that.
But here's the thing. Here's what I wanted to ask you about. Because Mike Johnson did say that Trump was an informant, right? How do you get to become an informant, Tim?
Snitching.
But yeah,
but usually you become an informant because they got the goods on you.
You're not going to just wake up one day and go, you know what? I think I'm going to tell on this person. You become an informant because they have something on you, and you say, but I can give you something bigger. That's why you become an informant. So either Mike Johnson misspoke, but I don't trust his racist ass either. And I don't think he misspoke. I think that sometimes they're getting to the point where they don't believe it matters.
It doesn't matter.
They don't believe that right. They don't believe it matters.
I don't think it matters one bit. Like I said, when it comes to President Trump, people believe he's doing such a great job. They're not going to throw him under the bus for the Epstein list. I think he knows that all I got to do is just keep stalling on this shit. Throw Venezuela at him, throw Chicago at him, throw Ukraine and Russia at him, throw, as Steve Bannon said, flood the zone. And because the Epstein stuff, the only reason why I started getting talked about again is these broads came forward and did their own thing. But we had moved on from the Epstein list pretty damn quick. And Trump he's talking about New Orleans is next. You can keep throwing American cities out there to the point where Epstein gets little to no coverage at all.
100%. And again, He understands the ignorance and the lack of research that his base does. He understands them better than we do.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is. He understands. That's why he does it. He throws that shit out there. They run with it, doing zero research, and then they repeat it over and over again as if it's. And he understands that. His administration understands that, and they do it, and they fall for it every single time. Every single time.
It puts Trump. It puts Trump in a good light. Now, I want to ask you: had you heard? Because speaking of Mike Johnson. I hadn't heard this yet, but there's a suggestion that he wants to they want to potentially consider taking away firearms from members of the LGBTQ community, suggesting that they're mentally ill.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, but again, Tim, white America is going to come up with any reason to oppress other people. That's just what they do. And when people want to act like it's not a thing, why would you? So now we want to take weapons out of the hands of a particular community because of what now?
Because they're gay.
Because of what?
Because they're gay or trans.
Yeah. Well, when we really should be looking at taking weapons out of the hands of, if you're going to do it, and I don't agree, but let's just be clear, I don't agree. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I also believe that we have to do something because we have too many weapons on the street in this country. But to isolate a group and say, we're going to take your right away, again, Tim, this isn't new. This was in Project 2025. None of this shit is new, Tim. None of it's new. All of it's supported.
Here's something, but you often hear my "shall not be infringed" crowd suggest that, come and take it from my cold dead hands, Charlton Heston and things like that. Having firearms prevents tyranny. I don't buy that. I think that you can be very tyrannical right alongside an armed population, because at the end of the day, the population, first of all, they don't have the same weapons as the military does. So, I mean, let's say Chicago, for instance. Military goes into Chicago. Them gangbangers are not about to go up against the National Guard that has access to aircraft and all of that shit. And that's the first thing. The second thing is, it's hard to suggest firearms in tyranny when a segment of the population is going to be in favor of the tyranny. So not only is the military or the government imposing tyranny on you, some of your own fellow citizens are going to be okay with it.
100%. And some of those U.S. citizens have been, in my opinion, this is my opinion, have been incarcerated. They are J6ers that have been deputized to go out there and work with ICE on the streets of our nation right now. So he's building this Gestapo, if you will, and they're feeding into it. And again, Tim, because they are racist. Period.
It's a lot of black. I'm gonna tell you the same thing I say all the time, Mike. It's a lot of black MAGA out there, and they're happy with Trump.
But here's the thing, and we can talk about those idiots. I got smoke for them too. I don't give a fuck about any of this, because at the end of the day, Tim, there is no group of people that is 100% one thing. When I say that about white people and the whiteness in this country, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But here's the thing: they know it's true. They know it's true. They understand the level of racism in this country. We are watching a president and his administration just shit on the Constitution. And the only reason they don't care is because they know that the shitting is on other people that are not them.
So of course, my astute, the intelligent side of my MAGA audience is going to want to know what the hell you mean by Trump is shitting on the Constitution. What has Trump did to indicate that he is not favorable to the Constitution? What has he did to violate the Constitution?
Listen, the whole plan from the very beginning with Project 2025, even in his first administration, go look it up. Just do a little research. It's been Project 2025, and moving by executive order was their plan, because they understand that if they try to move these things through Congress, that's where time, information, detail needs to be there for Congress to approve these things. But what they do is they declare these national emergencies, which give him the power to invoke these executive orders. But then they lean on this old, like the Enemy Aliens Act we talked about the other night. So he invokes it. He deems these two groups, T groups, domestic T groups, therefore the Enemy Aliens Act, and then he goes after them. That's why these things are caught up in the courts. But they understood that. They knew it was going to take time to go through the courts. And all the while, they're moving forward with these things that they're doing. People aren't understanding how he's weaponizing the executive orders by declaring everything a national emergency with no information.
But why is MAGA tends and the Republicans tend to be for states' rights and small government. Why are they not speaking out? Because Trump is obviously operating from a standpoint of big government. He's using the power of the federal government to go in cities and all this stuff. Why do you think MAGA's not saying anything, considering how long they've been promoting states' rights and small government? Trump is the exact opposite of that.
Right, but when he says America first and he says make America great again, it means make America white again, and they like it. They like the notion of making America white again. They don't even know what the fuck it truly means. They just believe that it means that it's going to give them something that somehow minorities have taken away from white folks in this country. Minorities ain't ran no government in this country. Who are you taking it back from?
Well, Obama.
Who are you taking it back
They're
from?
taking it back from Obama.
Okay, so if that's the case, we've had 47 presidents and we've had one black president. All of a sudden, this country has been taken over by one black president.
You ever heard of the phrase, one is too many?
We hear it all the time.
All right, there you go.
There, right? So, but again, though, Tim, if that's the case, they don't want equality anyway. They don't want equality anyway. And instead of listen, most of them. Listen, this is the weakest generation of white Americans that this country's ever had. Their ancestors wouldn't be settling for this shit.
What do you mean?
What I mean is, they equivocate. They understand what's going on because. Let me ask you this: how many people on your show that support Trump and their MAGA push back on the things that they're doing, Tim?
How many folks that identify as MAGA are pushing back on Trump?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think all MAGA pushes back on Trump on something here or there, but it's minuscule at best. I mean, like, I don't think most of the Trump supporters like what he's doing with the Epstein list. But in terms of how significant are they pushing back, very minor, minuscule at best.
Very minor.
Yeah, very minor.
They're making excuses, and I've been on multiple lives in the last 2 days. They're making excuses on this Venezuelan drug boat. They're making excuses. They're acting, well, I mean, we have to, so you're okay with drugs? You know, because they always do the absolutes, right? You're okay with crime, you're okay with drugs. And it's like, you know that that's not what it is, but your absolutism makes you feel better because you know they basically were the judge, jury, and executioner for 11 people, and we don't know what they were doing. We have no clue what they were doing. But again, they're unalived. We were sending people over to Venezuela. They were literally, Venezuela and El Salvador, they were saying how much they had cleaned up their countries, right? Because this is the reason why they're saying they can take their ass back. Am I right?
Yeah. Same thing with Haiti. They said that Haiti is better. You can go back.
Same thing with Haiti, right? So if that's their reasoning, why would you just believe? Because here's the thing. We're not going to see any detail about what was on that boat because they sunk it.
No.
Again, Tim, all I'm saying to you, but you can talk to MAGA supporters. There's some in your super chats right now that will justify that shit. They will justify it.
I've had many of them do it. I've had many of them do it already today.
Right, Tim. Think about what that says. They're justifying the unaliving of 11 people, and then Trump gets on TV and says he didn't know nothing about it. I don't know about it, right? So again.
Yeah, Trump is anything that does not work for Trump. Anything that does not work on Trump's behalf, he's going to say he didn't know about it. I mean, that's kind of the typical answer with Trump. I didn't know anything about it.
Tim, I want you to. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it slowly. We have to understand that the person we're talking about, all this shit we're talking about, this is the person that sits behind the resolute desk and supposed to represent the U.S. for the world. That's who we're talking about. This is the lowest. Listen, I told you, he's about as mediocre as it gets, Tim, and I'm going to stand by it, and you can't defend it. You can't. You can't defend it. You can't defend it.
It depends on what you're judging him on. Like I said, securing the border, he's not mediocre. He's superior.
I am judging our president the way we should judge all presidents. There's got to be some integrity there. He's not shown any. There's got to be some morality there. He's shown none. There's got to be a high level of character. He's shown none. And there's got to be a high level of integrity. He's shown none. Tell me what one of those four that he's shown, Tim, at a I'm not even going to say a high level. I'm going to lower the bar. On a scale of 1 to 10, tell me a time where he's shown us a level 5 when it comes to integrity, character. He doesn't ever talk about bringing the country together, ever.
No, I disagree. I can give you some times. For instance, there was an African American woman he called up on stage that said she was not working. He called her up on stage, asked her what does she normally do, and he said, "I'm gonna have somebody find you a job." I mean, it's few and far between. It's few and far between, but there are moments there.
Did you just give me? Did you just pull out one black woman? Is that what you just did?
Few and far between, but it does exist.
And so what did that give you from him? What did that tell you? He has integrity, character, or hold on, keep it 100, Tim. Since you brought it the fuck up,
I'm going with you.
When he brought that woman on stage, what did it say to you? Be honest. What did it say to you?
It said to me that he cared about this black woman and wanted to offer her a job.
Or did it say that this is performative?
Listen, he's a politician, Mike. All politicians are performative.
I thought he wasn't.
They lied about that. He is a typical politician. They lied.
More lying.
Yeah.
More lying. So here's my thing, Tim. Not only was it performative, Tim Scott was performative for him.
Yeah, but I'm going to play whataboutism on you. You got Hillary Clinton talking about she keep hot sauce in her purse. You got Nancy Pelosi wearing African garb, dancing with natives in Africa. They all perform. I mean, they all do that, Mike. You can't hold Trump accountable for the. They all do it.
No, that's bullshit, Tim. And I'm gonna tell you why. If you can tell me that those two that you just named have stood in a crowd and said, "Oh, it's, with the light in my face, it's hard to see. I can see the black ones." Have any one of them said anything? Nope. You brought it up. Have anyone?
No, you asked me, have they ever I'm telling you, they've done things that are performative. Now, they've done some things that are not. They haven't went off the deep end like Trump in many areas. But I'm just simply saying
that's my point, though, Tim.
That's a different point.
My point is, no, it wasn't.
Yes.
My point literally was when is he shown any four of those characteristics? When?
I just gave you an example. You just didn't like it.
Well, again, was it performative? Because for
every
you to say
listen.
Hold on. Here's what I'm saying. In order for you to say that moment showed character, showed morality, showed integrity, there would have to be substance to that moment.
You know, the only time I can think of. Okay, hold on. I don't know that. I don't know if he found her a job or not. But I will say
what
this.
What do you think, Tim? Come on, Tim. What do you think, Tim? Exactly. Okay.
Let me just say this. Let me just say this. The best example I can come up with of a politician showing integrity while not being performative is John McCain taking that microphone out of that old lady's hands who said she would not vote for Obama because he's a Muslim. He took the microphone out of her hand at an all-conservative town hall and stated, "No, he is not a Muslim. He's a good guy. We just disagree on things." That's somebody showing integrity and not getting any kudos for it at all. That audience didn't like Obama. So he defended that audience to a bunch of conservatives. Now that's something, unfortunately he's dead now, but that's a politician showing integrity while not being performative.
And I would argue that John McCain, although I didn't agree with most of his policies, throughout the whole campaign, he showed integrity.
Yeah.
He did, right? I'm not saying that politicians aren't performative, Tim, but what we were talking about is morality, integrity, character. He's shown none of that shit.
Well, Trump shows character. It's just he has a boisterous, insulting. We know what his character is just not good, but he shows plenty of character.
Come on, now you fluffing. When do we ever? Let me ask you this. When do we ever equivocate on character and then say, I mean, he shows character. He's just full of shit. Or he shows character.
Okay.
But when do we ever do that?
I'll give you that. I do got to move it on. I'll give you that. His character is flawed. I mean, but at the same time, they favor what he's doing for the country, and they don't give a shit about his character.
But the they I know, and the they that don't care about his character are the they that are racist. They're the they that are bigoted. They're the they that are selfish. They're the they that will profess that this movement that they have going is for the betterment of the people. Meanwhile, farmers in Arkansas, farmers in Nebraska, now they want to sue the Trump administration for doing what they voted for. Now, there's one or two things happen. They didn't read and understand it, or they didn't believe it was going to ultimately impact them.
It's the latter. I think most of the things that are hurting Americans that Trump is doing is the latter of what you just said. They thought that this stuff was going to be done to somebody else. They voted for Trump. He's doing what he promised. They just didn't think he was promising to do it to them. That's what I think it is. It's the latter. I got to move it on, though, Mike. Appreciate you coming through.
Hey, man. Oh, by the way, I want you to take off that. I want you to take off that Fat Albert orange shirt. I wasn't gonna say nothing. Tap the screen, share the live.
I'm out. Tap the screen. He is right. Tap the screen. Share the live. Get us done up to about 50,000. This is yet one of my own personal THL shirts. Is emblemed or monogrammed or whatever you want to call it. It's stitched right on through. I paid good money for these shirts. Multiple colors. Tap the screen, get the lights on up. Good evening, Miss Mo Better. In the comments, Alex says, I work with DHS and Department of Defense. Wouldn't mind calling in to express options, or better yet, express opinions and answer any questions I'm allowed to. Can't find a number, though I reached out to you in Instagram. Well, excuse me, that came out of nowhere. What I was going to say is, if for those who want to call in, you got to go on TikTok or Instagram. I'm having a biting moment. I'm losing my mind. You got to go. There is no phone number. I'm working on that. I would like to do that, but I'd have to get more donations and shit to the program. This is a free program. I don't get a whole lot of donations on here. Maintaining an 800 number would obviously cost money. I'd happily do it. But then I'd have to be on subscribe only or something like that all the time. But otherwise, you can go to Instagram, The Handsome Liberal, or you can go to TikTok, The Handsome Liberal, and I'll bring you up from that area. But the 800 number is something I would love to be able to do because I want to talk to more MAGA, and that would probably be an avenue. By the way, I do have an X and Truth Social platform. I am going to try to start going live on either X or Truth Social. If you will, if you actually are if you do use Truth Social or X, do your boy solid. Follow the Handsome Liberal on there as well. We are on those two platforms as well. I do post some content. I'm just getting into X and in Truth Social, but I am on there. Somebody says not a bite moment. I have a product I only can get from Canada. I paid twice the amount in tariffs than the product costs. Damn. Did you vote for Trump, CC? Because, obviously that's something we cannot blame on Biden. How do I call in via those applications? There should be at the bottom of your screen, there should be a picture of two people on Instagram. I know on TikTok you got to have a certain amount of followers, but if I see you, I'll bring you right up. They don't call the billions in farmer bailouts socialism or welfare. No, they don't. They don't favor, tuition forgiveness or universal health care or sending money to the Ukraine or USAID. They don't favor any of that shit that those people really need. But the minute the farmers get in trouble, now they want us to bail them out. Like I said, it sounded great when it was happening to other people, but now that it's starting to happen to them. Just like right now, we're hearing this whole thing about, when Democrats protest sending the National Guard into U.S. cities, well, that means the Democrats are for crime. You don't want the National Guard to go in there. That means you're for crime. I had somebody Instagram me or DM me and say that. I was debating with them back and forth and talking about how I don't like Chicago being flooded with the National Guard for a couple of reasons. One, I don't think it's going to solve anything. Two, Chicago's not number one on the worst cities list. I don't know why he's starting with Chicago other than he is gung-ho for Chicago, some form of Chicago derangement syndrome. And the viewer pushed back and said, see, that shows Democrats are for crime. And so I asked him, I said, well, you guys are against universal health care because you believe that, okay, it doesn't matter how much it costs to send the National Guard into Chicago. If it'll save one life, the cost is worth it. And I asked him, I said, why didn't you have that same notion when it came to universal health care? If it'll save one life, it's worth it. You think giving Americans health care wouldn't save lives? If it'll save one life, it's worth it. No, that means you're for sickness and death then, right? So he didn't like that pushback. But that still was my argument. If you're going to say that Democrats being against the National Guard coming in U.S. cities means they're for crime, then if you're against giving people universal health care, that means you're for sickness. What's the difference? And of course, he didn't like that. Looking in the comments, though, somebody says Black cities, huh? Well, if you're going to go to cities with the highest amount of crime, chances are it's going to be a lot of Black people there because it's going to be a city where there's a lot of poverty and things like that. And just the way this country was founded, it was founded to keep Black folks impoverished. So if you go to a city with a lot of crime, chances are it's going to be poverty and it's going to be Black people there. We're not here to go to crop picking. Bro, tell us what is going on. What are you talking about? Asian Americans voted for Trump due to the economy, public safety, crime, worried mass deportation, and religion. Well, they voted for Trump for the economy, and many are suggesting they're not even happy with the economy they're getting. Going back to the box, we'll go straight to Gangsta Grandma. MAGA reaction there. I saw that. Gangsta Grandma, good evening. Universal health care is not what you hope it is. I spoke with a Canadian for 3 hours about theirs. He hated it. Hold on one second, Gangsta Grandma. I'll tell you this. When you always hear about how bad universal health care is in Canada or how bad it is in the UK, they have Democratic elected government. You notice ain't none of them voting to get rid of it? If their universal health care sucks so much, notice that Canada and the UK and all these countries would if they ain't voting to get rid of it. No, it ain't perfect, but they would much rather have their system than to have the system we have in the United States, whereas while you're in between jobs, you're uninsured. If you're not working, you're uninsured. If you're working in the gig economy or if you are a independent contractor, you're uninsured. I would rather have poorly functioning or some less efficient healthcare than none at all. So we can talk about how bad Canada is. Having none at all is worse. Gangsta Grandma.
I can't stand your ugly orange orangutan looking ass tonight. Now let me tell you something. You tell that YT devil that said take our asses back to Africa. Okay, ship our ass back to Africa. Why don't they take the YT asses back to Europe?
Somebody
they don't belong.
Yeah, that came in a while ago.
No, they gave us syphilis. They put seed on fucking communities. They grape our women, our children. They are trashy ass trash. Take your YT asses back.
For folks who don't know what she's talking about a half hour ago or so, one of my viewers stated that. Hold on, hang on. Let me frame it. Let me frame what you're talking about so people know what the hell you're talking about. I had a viewer suggest that Trump needs to deport all blacks back to Africa. That's what she's enraged about. Go ahead, Gangsta Grandma.
No, so why didn't you get some damn kahunas and go tell his ass? But see, you let the YT man disrespect your sorry ass. But not this one. I wish that bitch would say that to me. I'll drag his fucking ass to hell and back. Give him $1.50 that he wouldn't fucking forget.
I figured I knew you were coming, so I figured I'd save it for you.
What?
His comment.
AI, he's a whole bitch. That's a whole bitch right there. He's only going after the black and brown people. He ain't going for the YT people in the damn southern states. Is he? The white governors, is he? No, he's not.
Well, wait a minute. I disagree. He's now talking about sending in the National Guard to New Orleans. That's a white governor in a red state.
Oh, he's talking about it. Oh, poor Pookie. Does he want a cookie? Motherfucker, they're gonna wallywop his ass right back out.
Well, he did say it. He did say, and by the way,
Well, what he said and what he's gonna do is two different fucking things. Like he did, he killed, he unalived. You know what? Let me tell you. You know how stupid these little maggots are. How pathetic these maggots are. Okay. Let's how stupid these. Let's have some education on the D. On the D.
what are you talking about?
Okay?
What are you talking about?
On some D dealing. Okay. Let me tell you, they don't ship boats over here from Venezuela to bring the D over here. You dumb Ray-Rays, you Pookies, you uneducated YT people. They don't do that. Do you know what they do? They fly the shit in and drop it in the ocean where the people, the Americans, goes and gets it.
They posted this video.
Well, wait a minute.
Kill innocent people.
Some drugs do come here by boat, though, Gangsta Grandma.
Not this. Oh, you really think that little boat right there is going to bring it in? Are
No.
you fucking serious?
Now,
Right.
you are correct. I read the parameters on this boat. It has a range of between, I think, what is the range of this boat? This boat,
I know you're not from the street, are you, Pookie?
this boat, no, I'm not. This boat has
I know you're not. That's why I know your ass doesn't know about
Okay.
You know, oh, that's going to come to the United States. No, Pookie, that isn't.
This boat has a range between 300 and 600 nautical miles. Venezuela is 729 miles from the U.S. mainland, so there's no way this boat
They
could have
unalive
been.
innocent people. They did. Okay, that wasn't no D. You know what I mean? He's just doing it. He wants to start shit so we don't have to go vote. Okay? He's starting a whole lot of shit so that when the elections come, we don't go vote because we're in a WAR.
So you really think he wants American people warring with each other?
Hell yeah. He's trying everything not to get the files out because he's a rapist and a pedo. He rapes little girls under the age of 14.
Evidence?
He's trying everything. Trying everything.
There's no proof that he's messed with a girl under
Shut
14.
the fuck up.
There's no proof of
Orange ass
that.
baboon.
There-
Shut the fuck up. They said it. Dodo.
They have never
The
said.
victims.
They have
The
never said.
victims.
Wait.
Do you realize what the victim said?
Who's-
Riri?
who-
Do you know that?
You're not letting me
Do you
speak.
realize what the victim said? They put him there. They put him there.
Under 14.
I swear to fucking God, you are like dumb. On God. On God, you're dumb. You know what he told them? Under the age of 16, that they are good. And then they got too fucking old. And then they kicked them out. Yes, dumbass.
You're telling me, do
He
you?
likes them 14. He likes them at 10 years old. He likes them at 11 years old. He likes them at 13 years old. He likes them at 14 years old. That's a pedo. And you know what? You're so kissing his fucking YT ass. Oh, yes, master. Get the whips and the chains. You ratty raccoon ass.
You genuinely believe President Trump slept with somebody that was 14 years of age?
No shit, Sherlock. Does it take a brainy analyst to figure that out?
Does he come across like somebody that would do that?
Hell, are you
14?
You really don't think? You think that motherfucker don't look like that? He's an old ass YT man that likes the little girls. He was fuck his own damn daughter. He even said it. If it wasn't for his daughter, Ray, he would fuck her. Now that tells you something. Now I told you YT men, they like to go after their little girls and shit and knock them the fuck up with their own damn kids.
I mean, 14 seems a bit young, though.
The girls, the women was on the thing saying it. They was 14 and 13 and 15 having sex with older great white men. And they said it. They put him there. And you know what they said too? With your trifling, no good for nothing ass. They said they're gonna release the fire.
I did hear him say that.
They're gonna release the names. They're going to release the names, and oh hell is gonna break loose. You fluffing ass. No,
I got somebody with the name of Capalot. I love that name. Capalot says that you are making the liberal stereotype seem true. Like, what the
Oh,
fuck?
guess what? Go tell them to kiss my black ass too, okay? Tell them, 'cause I speak my fucking mind. I spend 10 toes down. And you know what? I'm not the one that's raping little girls. None of my presidents I voted for is on the Epstein files, okay? Biden surely ain't on the Epstein files. And you know what? Yeah, buddy. Now,
So-
the black woman I voted for is on the Epstein files.
So
Hell no. But the fucking one, the motherfuckers I voted for, he's on the Epstein files. And you know what? I know a hell of a lot of people that's probably on them.
So
Congratulations.
if somehow, some way you are correct that Trump wants us warring with each other, why is it that MAGA seems to think he's doing a great job? What are you seeing that MAGA's not seeing? If what you're saying is true,
Really?
MAGA don't see any of what you're talking about. They think you're full of shit.
Because they're racist. The white tea devils. They are racist. They are.
Every single person,
Quack, quack.
every single member of MAGA is racist.
Yep. They know what he's doing. They know what he's doing. They know that he's doing the constitutional shit. You know what I'm saying? He did the border so good. No, dum-dum. He's breaking the law while he's doing it. He won't let them come in and claim asylum like it is under the Constitution. He won't let them do that. He won't. So that's breaking the fucking law, so it's not secure, dum-dum.
I don't know. Some people, I mean, like for instance, some people are pushing back. Truth Hurts Us says, yeah, Granny is full of shit. Sounds like she got shit in her mouth. So some people are pushing back.
You know what? His mama probably shit in his mouth. His mama should have aborted him. Well, he's a waste of fucking nut. He's white trash. Amen. Hallelujah.
A waste of fucking nut. I've never heard of that. A waste of fucking nut, huh? Jesus Christ, Granny.
Yeah, he's a waste of fucking nut. His mama should have aborted him. The waste of a fucking nut. His mama should have swallowed him. His daddy should have done it somewhere else. Could have got a classy ass bitch.
Okay.
The
all
white
right.
tea man better not come. I promise you. I don't have no tolerance for the white tea man. On God, I don't.
I see
Because you know what they don't like none of our black and brown asses? They voted for hate. This is one expensive racism, okay? It's racism. They didn't vote because she wasn't uneducated or anything like that. They voted because of the color of her skin. They don't want no black woman, an intelligent black woman, to run this country and to show that a woman could do it. No, they voted because they wanted that piece of white trailer trash ass up in here and kick all of our asses out. Why do you think that white man said what he said to you? And then you giggled about it, thought it was cute. You like the man to call you the N-word. You think it's cute. When a motherfucker called you colored, you laughed about it.
Look,
You ratty raccoon.
what's the difference between what he's doing and what you're doing?
I swear to God. I call them. They all white tea devil. Then they have a sheet on their head. What are you talking about?
I haven't seen anyone. I have not seen a single person identified as MAGA while wearing a sheet. They're going to tell you the Democrat Party is the party that started the KKK.
They called you colored. You have that fucking stats fuck in here called the Proud Boys. Oh, you can come to my barbecue. Yeah, he would have put you in a tree. And you over here kissing his fucking ass. He's a Proud Boy. That's a triple K right there, buddy. And you're kiki and cocky with him. What the fuck are you talking about?
I have not seen any evidence that the Proud Boys are the equivalent to the Triple K. I've never seen any evidence of that.
They are on the fucking list, Ray Ray. I know you ain't that fucking stupid. I know you ain't that cum is coming out your fucking mouth undripping, huh? That uncooked protein cum is coming out that mouth, huh? How does it taste like? Because I know I've never tasted. I've never bowed down to the white man. How does it taste like?
Why?
How does it taste like?
Me having an intelligent conversation with people that happen to be
Not
Caucasians.
having no intelligent conversation question. Because you know why? Because every fucking time you have a white tea man up in your shit, you bow down. Yes, master. You don't fucking push back. When that motherfucker said, oh, so I'll ship you motherfuckers back. Why didn't you clap back? Oh, you don't got the balls to, huh? You don't clap back?
Gangsta Grandma, I'm running a show. I don't have time to get into clapback.
A show? No. See, this is what it is. You know, no, see, you need to come back. That's what I tell you. Why don't you add me as your co-host? Because see, when they come for your black ass, I will come for their ass.
So what we gonna?
Okay, I got more balls than you do, and I got a fucking for JJ. For God's sake.
What we gonna play? Good cop, bad cop?
Yeah, I'll be the bad cop. How about that? I'll be the bad cop. And your little fluffy looking, orange dragon tank looking ass. Yes. Yes. Can I have more of that protein? Hell no.
What's wrong with me wearing it?
Fuck that.
What's wrong with me wearing an orange shirt? I thought it might help me out in my president.
You like it, don't you? You like that orange, don't
This could help me out in my political.
Like
Apparently, orange can help you out in your political future. So I decided to wear orange tonight.
Oh, you really kissing a white man's ass is gonna really help you out?
Who's
really?
kissing? Nobody's kissing a white man's ass.
You are. You over here saying, oh, how good he's doing at the border when he's breaking every fucking law to get people out of the damn country. When he brought people in this country, he's shipping them back out, but yeah, he's bringing a white teen man up in this country, okay? Oh, yeah, you forgot about that, right?
Why don't you give Trump credit that he did secure the border better than Biden?
I ain't giving that motherfucking white tea devil credit for nothing. I want that orange dragon chain squeeze. How about that? We're losing everybody fucking else. All the good people. Why can't that unattractive, no good for nothing rapist, why don't he get squeezed? We will be, you know what? We'll be popping champagne when that day comes.
And I see
Hallelujah.
And I see Ashley P in the comments says she goes hard in the paint. I love her. So you got a little adoration out there. I mean, you're beating the hell out of me, but you saying that we will be happy when Trump croaks?
Hell yeah, we will be. We'll be chopping champagne. We will get our Hennessy out. We're free at last. We can finally say we're free at last. Hallelujah.
You would genuinely celebrate the death of another human being.
Hell fucking to the yeah. I promise you, I will be dancing in the damn streets. I wouldn't give a fuck what time it was when they announced that the orange wallabies of a president is done. We squeezed the orange juice, the nasty ass undercooked one. I'll be praising the Lord. I said, God, send him to the pits of hell.
What about the notion?
Hallelujah.
What about the notion of maybe seeing Eric Jr., Don Jr., or seeing Eric or Barron on TV crying? I mean, if you see,
go get them some cocaine.
What?
How about that?
If you're seeing,
you know what? Let me tell you something. They dope heads too. They are so dope heads. They are. Trust and believe.
His son Barron is barely an adult. If that kid's on TV crying, you gonna celebrate that?
I don't give a fuck about his son. He don't give a fuck about our kids in schools and shit. I don't give a fuck about that white kid. God, he goes to the preppiest school. God, why do I give a fuck about him when this man don't care two fucks about us, about our kids? Okay, he don't give a damn about our kids.
How about this one? Grady Nixon says you should never hate evil more than you love good.
Let me tell you, that is the Antichrist. It's in Daniel. If you read the book Daniel, I forgot the verse in Daniel. He is the definition of the Anti-fucking-Christ. All about gold and stuff. He's in Daniel. I tell you, yes, I am a Christian. Do I have a foul mouth? Hallelujah. Yes, I do. God loves me too because I speak my fucking truth. And you know what? I stand 10 toes down. See, I'm not like you. I'm not a rowdy raccoon. You know what? I am not going to bend the knee to the white man. I would not be a house ninja. And I would never tell a white teen man that we're beneath them. Like you. You over here telling them, yes, you do. I be seeing you on the
Wait. When the hell did I tell white people that we're beneath them?
You do. You tell them, you know what? I agree with you. And then
You didn't say that. What?
Yes, you do.
No, I did not.
The black maggots. You be kissing ass to the black maggots. The same black maggots are in my inbox saying that they want to dick me down. And I said I would never touch their asses because they're ratty raccoons. I might get some salmonella.
I gotta go, gangster. I gotta go.
I bet you do, but you let a white teen man stay on your life for 2 fucking hours telling and talking shit about me. Yeah, I bet you do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you don't know what you're talking about. Like you didn't know what I was talking about when they called you colored 2 or 3 times. Yeah, you didn't know that, neither did you.
Listen.
Did you? You need some hearing aids, don't you?
And I see in the comments somebody, what is his name? What is let me hold on, because somebody said something. Somebody said, I don't know why I believe her. Man, I don't know why you believe her either, because I don't know what she's talking about. Gangster grandma.
What the fuck? Are you serious, Tim? You know what? You know what? I gotta take me a little bit of time off my shit, okay? Off my grinding to get my monies, and I gotta do tape record your dumb ass, like screen record, and then you'll have me on your ass, your good cop, bad cop, and I'm gonna show you, little motherfucker ass, okay? And I'm gonna show you how all the little cooning you be doing, how you be licking their asses and shit, how you be saying justified. Yeah, I agree this, I agree that, and you never want to push back. You know what? I tell you, they won't add me on there. They won't add me on there. 'Cause you know why? Because I would take them to the pits of hell like they deserve to go. Like, see, I'm like I'm like a good and bad little angel of Christ. I'm a good Christian to a point. But I will take you to the pits of hell that you fucking belong. See, God knows I have a good heart.
You don't. Wait, let me tell you something. No,
I promise you. When it comes to the white tea devil, Christianity goes out the damn door.
All right.
I'm Satan.
I'll leave it at that. Just understand, no ass gets kissed on this program. No ass gets kissed on this program. I gotta go.
You know what? But can you add me though? Me and you gonna add it. We're gonna go to me and you are gonna go, and we're gonna run a little show and let me do the bad cop because you don't got the balls too, and I got the bigger balls than you, and I got coochie, and let's do it. And I guarantee you, they won't like it. How about that?
I'm working on it. I gotta go. All right. Wow. Look. That's the price of free speech. Sometimes I do. I'm a hardworking man. Some of you guys, show your boy some love. God damn it, fill up my goal of hats or whatever the hell I got in there. I'm taking a beating for your entertainment, but I do believe in free speech. So she has the right to speak on this program, just like when I have MAGA come on the program. I do give them the right to speak as well. So that's what free speech is all about. We don't. Thank you. Somebody show us some love, Mike. Appreciate that. Yeah, drop them hats on there. There you go. Show your boy some love. God damn it, I'm getting beat up for your entertainment. Love you, friend. Jesus is still king. That was amazing, said Sidecar Tommy. Amazing in what way, Miss Mobetta? Thank you. Amazing in what way? I got my ass kicked on that shit. Miss Mobetta, good evening. And I see somebody in the comments.
You don't stand a chance with Gangster Grandma.
Yeah. Arthur Hill told me to never drop her. Do you want me to host a 3-hour live getting beat up like that? I have PTSD talking up for 3 hours.
She wear your ass out, Tim.
I don't deserve it though. I'm the friendliest, most patient host on social media. I don't deserve that.
You do have a lot of patience. That I'll give you because it's not just her, but you be having some guests on here like if this motherfucker don't drop this idiot, like you.
But I'm gonna tell you something
you
though.
Have many guests like that.
But I'm gonna tell you something, Mr. Mobetta. When you say you're hearing some of my guests on here and you're thinking if you don't drop this idiot. I got a lot of MAGA that say the same thing when Gangsta Grandma come on here.
Oh, we know. I trust me. I know. And I know what type of show you run. So I understand. Like you said, you don't block, ban, or censor.
Yeah.
So I get it. But when it comes to the internet, for those who don't know, when you come here, be liable to hear anything, and that's period.
Yeah.
It's not for the weak.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
Yeah, and I see somebody in the comments. Truth Hurts says. Granny won't remember a word she said. Yeah, she not only will she remember it, she gonna repeat all that shit again tomorrow. She gonna remember it. Yeah, she gonna remember it. She remember every damn thing she said.
Listen, but as far that picture with Trump and when it comes to Chicago and going to these other places, you know why he hasn't gone to any of those places? Because he does not have jurisdiction. So listen, when it comes to this country, there's a lot of things when it comes to law. It's that they don't run on the law; they run off jurisdiction and statute. So you have to he knows that. You know what I mean? That's why he keeps threatening. In 2 weeks, we're going to go here. 2 weeks.
So what are you saying? It ain't gonna happen?
I doubt it.
Chicago.
So what happens is he's hoping that the Chicago themselves or wherever he goes themselves cave in and say, all right, you can come in, because he still has to be allowed in by that state. He can't.
Chicago is never going to let Trump come in. They have no reason to.
And that's exactly why he's. I hear you keep giving him credit for the border being secured, and let me tell you something. We have more turmoil going on here in our country with the border being secure than it was when it was open. So that goes to show you the border was not a problem. The immigrants are not our real problem. They might have a few coins here and there, but they're not the issue.
Well, I'm gonna push back. Let me push back and put on my MAGA hat. When you say that,
I thought that shit was burned in the video the other day.
No,
God damn it!
I got so many fucking MAGA hats. I got Trump as right hat. I got hats everywhere. But let me just say this. In regards,
put that shit down when you talking to me. I don't want to see it.
You sound like lower your motherfucking voice. Or you talking? No, what I was going.
Yeah, put that shit down.
No, what I was going to say. I don't forget. You threw me off when you said that. What the hell was I about to say? I was about to defend Trump. I was about to defend Trump. I can't remember what we
were. He's about to push back on some shit that's bullshit. When I tell you that the border.
Oh, I know what I was about to say. When you said that, it shows that the problem really was not the immigrants in regards to Trump. I would say that that's the family of Lincoln Riley. I mean, obviously the immigrants are a problem. I mean, people.
No, that's one of your biggest fluffing moments just now.
What?
That's one of your big, because you sound like him. They take one instance and just inflate it. You inflated one. So let's talk about those kids that were shot up in that school a couple of weeks ago.
What does that got to do with immigrants?
Exactly. It wasn't an immigrant, and that's not our problem. Is was that wrong, or what happened with Lincoln Riley? Absolutely.
Right.
But it's more happening at the hands of white American men than it is any of these immigrants. So listen, if they want to do something, let's go to the statistics. Let's go to the books and see who's causing more harm and detriment to our country. It's not the immigrants.
Well, okay, there are more white men in the country than immigrants, so they're probably going to cause more crime. But that don't mean you ignore what the immigrants are doing, right?
But that doesn't mean you highlight it either. That doesn't mean you just highlight that either. Highlight that bullshit that's going on because you don't want to talk about the gun issues and stuff that we are having here in this country.
What about doing them both at the same time?
You can. And I will fuck with that if you was to do both at the same time. But just like he went to pick Chicago out, which was 20th on the list as far as crime goes in this country, it might have moved up to 7 now, or whatever the number is, as opposed to going to the number one state that's having these issues. See, and that's the problem with this MAGA regime.
MAGA Reacts comes on the program, and he always says the reason he started out with Chicago is it just has a sheer number of murders that are more than everywhere else.
MAGA Reacts is gonna he got more Trump's nuts in his mouth than a little bit. We don't take shit that he say seriously. Matter of fact, he need to find something else to do with his time. Go color or something. We'd rather not hear from him.
Well, I like the East MAGA. I want to hear from MAGA as well. I don't get as many MAGA, so I want to hear from MAGA.
I get it. I get it because that's, you run a political show, so you like to hear both sides. So
you do also realize Trump is winning over and over again. So MAGA should speak. That's the winning team, right?
He put people in place that are going to kiss his ass. They no longer kissing the ring. They would be on the ring and hit his ass. So of course you're gonna appear to be winning when you got everything is either nepotism or cronyism. Yeah. How could you lose in that situation?
Well, I mean, this is what we elected though. We elected him to run the country. He's in there and he's doing.
Oh, we didn't, because I didn't vote for him. So we didn't do anything. Thanks to Elon Musk is how he got into in the office.
Well, some might also say,
you can go back and check all the numbers again. Like, Elon Musk really helped this man out.
I don't think it's just Elon Musk, Mr. Mobet. I think Joe Biden also and Kamala Harris helped him get elected as well. I think Biden.
They helped themselves not get elected. They ain't had nothing to do with Trump being elected.
I
had a lot of people that sat home, refused to go out there and vote and stuff like that. So that landslide that people keep talking about that he won by is false.
Well,
it's inflated numbers again, which is what they always
do.
Inflate numbers.
They wouldn't have stayed home if the Democrats had to put forth a decent candidate. He
was a decent candidate. Again, like Gangster Grandma said earlier, they didn't vote for her because, number one, she's black. Number two, she's a woman. We deal with a racist, misogynistic country. And if you deny any of that, then you really are fluffy.
I don't even think it's necessarily just bringing up racism. I mean, look, Biden got more of the black vote than Kamala Harris did. How do you explain that? Is that racism?
He wasn't a woman. He wasn't a woman.
Okay, so that's sexism from the black community.
That's what I said, misogyny and racism.
I don't know, because I think Hillary Clinton beat Kamala Harris in votes. I think Hillary Clinton got more votes from the black community. I have to look it up to make sure. I'm not certain of this, but I believe she did better with the black community than Kamala Harris did.
Well, again, the times from when times has really changed now, because you have a lot more people, you have a lot more younger people that are on social media and going into politics, because they deal with a lot of like cryptocurrency and
what does they got to do with
and different things like that, to where Trump makes them believe like, all right, y'all gonna be rich if you follow me.
Yeah, but what does that got to do with Hillary Clinton getting more of the black vote than Kamala Harris?
Because again, they got them thinking that they're going to be rich. Like, okay, well, we wasn't rich under, we wasn't getting rich under those times, but Trump he has this tell-all that we're going to be rich. That's mainly like the Black MAGA or whatever. But I don't know why she got more than Kamala.
Because Kamala was a bad candidate.
Kamala didn't have enough time.
Right.
She didn't have enough time to get out there and campaign. She only had like 106 days or something to even get out there and campaign. And then they weren't really listening to Kamala. They were looking at Kamala. They weren't listening.
But that's what I keep telling you. A lot of that shows why Kamala, and that's why I said I don't just blame Trump's victory on racism or sexism. I blame it on the Democrats put forth bad candidates. First of all, Biden hurt the Democrat Party by refusing to step down for so damn long. And then Kamala Harris got up there. She just did not run a good campaign. She avoided a lot of shows, didn't do a lot of interviews, didn't say the right.
She avoided those shows, Tim, because people were only looking to eat her up. They were not looking to listen to what she had to say. They already counted her out even before her not going in. They were counting her out as soon as they announced her as the running mate. Oh, nobody voted for her. That's not how the process works.
I disagree.
Trump, they didn't vote for Trump either to be the candidate. That's not how that works. Go to the DNC and the RNC, they choose and then they accept the nomination. It's not a vote for the people yet. They have to work up to the vote. So people just don't, they're not understanding how this process works.
I think the fact that she's avoiding going on podcasts and things like that, I don't think it worked well for her at all. And then she goes on The View and says, I wouldn't do anything different than Biden did. You can't blame that on sexism or racism. That came out of her mouth.
Again, yes, she did say she wouldn't change it, and that's because what Biden did, it was working, Tim. But then she had her own sets of values that and
so you think she answered that question right?
That added.
You think when she said I wouldn't change anything that Biden was doing, you think that was the right answer to give?
Absolutely. What's she gonna go up there and say? Oh no, I'm gonna change everything he did because what he did was working. Tim.
You think what he was doing on the border was working?
He had listen. She had the first-hand information when they went and presented these bills, and the Republicans shot it down. What do you expect them to do? Not only that, they keep saying that she didn't go to the border. She did not only go to the border; she crossed the border. They went over there and set up programs in these other countries, taught them how to farm and be self-sufficient over there, and told them not to come here. She didn't just go to the border; she crossed the border.
Yeah,
they will not see those things.
I hear all of that, but the notion that her saying I won't change anything that Biden is doing at a time when Biden's poll numbers are through the floor, you're saying that's the right answer to get. That makes no sense to me. Even if you're going to do exactly what Biden did, right now you need to be sensitive to the fact that there's a large portion of the country that's unhappy with him.
You're not saying being sensitive. You said she should have lied. Just say that. Just lie.
All right.
Because that's what it worked for Trump, I guess. Lying worked for him, and it's still working for him. That's all he does.
I honestly think that if you had a politician that was 100% honest, they would never win.
Possibly. Yeah. They're good salespeople. That's true. I'll give you that.
I mean, they used to call Abraham Lincoln Honest Abe. I haven't heard them calling any politician since Abraham Lincoln honest.
They're still giving Abraham Lincoln credit for freeing slaves. Please, we're not. Let's not even go there.
You don't give him credit for that.
No, because he didn't want to free the slaves.
I don't care if you listen.
He had to.
Okay, listen. If I'm actually somebody's trying to kill me, and you save my life, even if you sound like gangster grandma when you do it, I'm just gonna say yo ugly black ass this one time. I don't care if you don't want to do it or not. If you do it, you deserve credit for it.
Okay. If you want to give him credit, you go right ahead.
You would still be enslaved. You would have still been enslaved longer without him. He don't get no credit for that.
Now he all right. You can give him that. Like I said, you
wow.
Can give right ahead.
Listen, I know he is quoted as saying, if I could end the Civil War without freeing a slave, I would do it. If I could end the Civil War by freeing every slave, I would do it. I get that he didn't want to do it. I don't think Lyndon B. Johnson wanted to do it either. But at the end of the day, if you do it, it wasn't going to be done without you. You deserve credit for it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I guess. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That don't sound very appreciative, Miss Mobetta.
No, and it doesn't. You know why? Because they make people think you got to bow down to that.
Almost.
When you want me to thank you for freeing slaves that should have never been slaves in the first place. That's like crabs in the barrel.
But they were slaves before Abraham Lincoln was born. I ain't got shit to do with why slavery existed.
So what?
I'm ending it.
So what? So what?
That's I mean, I'm looking at it like this. Here I am. I got all of these Southern idiots trying to kill me and shit like that. Here I am freeing you Negroes, and you can't even give me credit for this shit. You know how much my goddamn life is at risk for freeing you Negroes? I can't get even some love for doing that.
Welcome to our world, then.
Oh
how about
that?
God.
That's cruel. That is cruel. Get that man his love.
I'm sorry. You could call it what you want, Tim. That's fine. That's fine. At least I ain't say you was fluffy.
Okay. That is true. That is true. All right, Miss Mobetta.
I didn't call you a fluffer.
That
you know
is
what
true.
I'm saying?
You drive a hard bargain. You drive a hard bargain.
Mr. Showman, Trump, and all of these pictures and shit they putting up, that's all crock of shit, Tim. Again, They know he ain't there because he doesn't have jurisdiction over a lot of this stuff that he's putting in. And he talks so much shit about Obama signing executive orders. Everything Trump does now is under executive order.
That is true. You cannot put a microphone in front of Trump's face without him blaming Obama or Biden for something. I mean, they talk about Trump. They talk about Trump derangement syndrome, but if you ask anybody on the right, give me your definition of derangement syndrome. Don't say Trump derangement syndrome, because you got to be able to have it for somebody else. Give me your definition of derangement syndrome. You'll quickly find out Trump has those symptoms. They just don't call it out. Mr. Mobetta, I got to go. Appreciate it.
All right.
Good talk. Good talk. Drive a hard bargain. Mr. Mobetta don't make it easy. She's a little gentler than Gangsta Grandma, but she's a tough cookie. Anyway, looking in the comments, show the files. CFC dig, they're not going to show the files. They're not going to show the, do you guys think that Congress, because Congress has to pass Congress is the one that they're trying to get to pass, pass legislation requiring that everybody see the Epstein files. Do you think that Democrats are going to get enough Republicans to pass that? Now, I believe the Republican Party has already indicated that anybody that votes in favor of that will be taken upon as threatening to the Republican Party. So they're already kind of threatening Republican congressmen and women that if you vote to show these files, that's your ass. They're already threatening them. I don't think they're going to get it. And by the way, yes, I can see you, Modelo. I can see you. If you want to be seen even better, toss a little bit of support. It makes the screen turn colors. I'll see your comment absolutely for certain without a shadow of a doubt on YouTube because it turns the whole screen colors. Speaking of which, Tim, somebody said I'm 1 million part of the problem. Thus, all has been obvious for years. I think I saw that before, Joe. No, but I lost my train of thought. But no, in regards to the Epstein file, that's what we're talking about. I don't think that the Democrats are going to get enough votes from the Republican side. I think Trump's threats have a lot of weight behind them. I think Trump can threaten a lot of the members of Congress and get them to do whatever he wants. It's pretty clear that there are a large portion of the Republican Party that's at the national level. They're afraid of Trump. I think that is pretty clear. Now, they could be afraid of Trump because of, harm that they perceive may be brought upon them. Actually, somebody threatening your life or something like that. Or in some cases, it's just job security. If I go against Trump, he's going to primary me and I'll go by way of Liz Cheney or Adam Kinzinger or Mitt Romney or any of the other Republicans that went against him. So I do believe that a large portion of our national Republicans are afraid of Trump. So he can pretty much do anything. They're going to kind of stand down because that's kind of what Congress has been doing. I mean, a lot of his executive orders, Mr. Mobetta, my last caller, is correct. A lot of his executive orders should have been done by Congress. Certainly sending the military into major American cities, that should never be left up to just one man. Now, the notion that crime in Chicago is so bad you deem it an emergency. Crime in Chicago today ain't that much worse than it was a month, 2 months, 3 months ago. It's not like Chicago all of a sudden had this huge spike in crime over the last 2 months. So if you can deem the crime in Chicago currently as an emergency, considering it's coming down somewhat according to the people in Chicago, that means it was actually worse this time last year. So that means there's been an ongoing criminal emergency in Chicago for months, if not years. Why do you need to rush it? Why not use Congress? The emergency ain't going nowhere. You don't need to do this unilaterally. I mean, if it's that serious, it ain't like the crime in Chicago's been getting, spiking. So use Congress. The fact that he's not using Congress for all of this stuff says two things. First of all, it shows that Congress is just going to let him do shit. I mean, at this point, why even have them? Other than the big, beautiful bill, what has Congress done over the last 8 months? What other legislation of any significance has Congress passed? This has got to be probably one of the most inept versions of Congress we've ever had. Trump is passing all sorts of shit, but when it comes to Congress, what have they done? Other than the big, beautiful bill, what have they done? For almost a year. I mean, what else have they passed? I definitely think farmers wish Biden's policies continue. Yeah. There's a bunch of people that wish Biden's policies continued. Folks that work in the tourism industry. I guarantee you Las Vegas wish Biden's policies. The state of Nevada is hurting because of Trump's scaring away all of the tourists, and people, international folks are not coming to the U.S. So the tourism industry is certainly would prefer President Biden or Kamala Harris over Trump. All of those tourism industries that are near the Canadian border, you know, Buffalo and all that shit around Niagara Falls, all of that stuff up in Maine and things like that. There's a whole lot of properties down in Florida that are also suffering now because the Canadians used to come here. They would call themselves, what was it called, snowbirds or something like that. During the Canadian winter, they would go to Florida and spend a few months. They're not doing that now. So all of the tourism industry is suffering significantly because of Trump. So there are plenty of folks. And then, of course, businesses dealing with tariffs are not very happy either. Lot of words. Don't know what you're trying to say there, Sean. Maybe we should stop the tribal bullshit and just say we're American. Makes sense, right? You're not going to get that rule when Trump is constantly talking about how bad liberal cities are and pumping up Republican cities and talking about blue states and red states. I like your comment, Wu, saying that we should stop the tribal bullshit and just say we're American. But if you're not getting it out of the White House, you're not going to get it out of the people. And Trump is absolutely running from a standpoint of tribalism. So leadership in unity starts at the top. You're not going to have a divisive leadership and the people start uniting under him. That's just not going to happen. Trump is absolutely painting liberal areas to be awful and pumping up Republican areas, painting liberals to be awful and celebrating Republicans, painting liberal media to be terrible and celebrate. I mean, he is absolutely doing exactly what you said people should stop doing. Yes, Trump definitely is not the one who brings us together. No, he's not even making an effort to do it. But Trump is still golfing every weekend at the cost so far of $74 million. How does it cost $74 million to golf? God damn. I know you got to take security, but $74 million? Holy shit. Chris, good evening. Welcome to the program. Yeah, I would. Sorry when you get mad at teleprompters because you can't read. You have serious problems. Who got mad at a teleprompter? Chris, good evening.
What's going on, Tim? What's your backdrop? What's the subject today?
Okay, we're talking about Trump is still gung-ho about sitting in the National Guard and dealing with the crime in Chicago. In fact, I'll give you this clip because it's been a minute since some new folks are coming. I want you to hear this, but this is kind of what we're talking about.
Bring you all of your top stories and live events from across the country and across the world. President Trump taking to social media here amid questions over when ramped up immigration efforts will begin in the city of Chicago. Chipocalypse Now, the president just wrote on his Truth Social, an obvious play there on Apocalypse Now. This is a look at that post with an image of Trump saying, quote, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War." That, of course.
So obviously he's making it sound like he's about to take Chicago to war. And that post, here's a blow up of the picture that was on that. It's a picture of President Trump. Now he's in military fatigues. Obviously, there's obviously Hueys flying around in the background. Looks like a scene straight out of Apocalypse Now or the Vietnam War. But the difference is, and right over his left shoulder, you see the city of Chicago is smoldering. Right over the right shoulder, that is the skyline of Chicago. So that's not Vietnam. That is Hueys flying over the city of Chicago. And of course, you see over his other shoulder, the city of Chicago is in smoldering ruins. So that is what we're discussing as an actual president making an image of one of his very own cities at his behest being destroyed militarily. What say you?
Yeah, he's a bozo. He's a clown. We'll call him bozo. You know, because Chicago ain't that bad where he's making it out to be.
Yeah, and I will say real quick for the viewer that stated, why can't we just all call ourselves Americans and come together? Does this look like somebody who wants to come together? I mean, he's literally talking about blowing up Chicago. So think about that. This came literally from the presidential account. He sent that out himself personally. So you say he looks like a bozo doing this, huh, Chris?
Yeah, more like a clown. Why would you pick Chicago out of all the cities in the whole United States? You got 50 states here. Let's say 48 states, the little 48. Mm-hmm. Out of all 48 of these states on this island, why would you pick Chicago?
Yeah. And I see in the comments, someone, he has Chicago derangement syndrome, but somebody in the comments says, you guys must not watch movies. Well, first of all, it doesn't matter what movie you watch. They deliberately put the image of Trump's face there in the city of Chicago in the background. So it doesn't matter what movie you watch. It's pretty clear that he is trying to ridicule Chicago. And then, of course, he changed the name from Apocalypse Now to Shy-Apocalypse Now. So it's clear that he is making references to destroying that city.
Okay, Tim, I think, number one, let me tell you this. I think what he's looking at is population. Okay, number one. So you're looking at populated cities. Notice he only said New York, Chicago, and L.A., right. The three populous
well, he's mentioned Baltimore and New Orleans, but Houston is the fourth most populous city.
After the fact. That's after he got pressure.
That's what I haven't said that, but that's exactly what it is. As people started saying you were only going for liberal cities and Republican states. So I believe probably the governor of Louisiana said, well, you can throw New Orleans in there if it'll help you out. That's probably what happened.
They put the per capita there, which he don't understand, because when you're looking at 2 million, 3 million, you're gonna the number's gonna be higher naturally. That's natural. That's like Shanghai or Beijing compared to a $500,000 China city.
Right.
If you got 30 million people, you're gonna have more numbers, but per capita is different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Somebody said Trump was in that. Trump was not in Apocalypse Now, was he? Somebody said Trump was in that movie. I don't believe that.
The guy's a clown. He's looking for attention, and wherever the attention goes, Tim, he drives it higher.
Yeah.
When he see it's picking up traction, they complaining about you going to Chicago. He gonna push it even higher. That's his signature.
Well, I heard. I've had MAGA tell me one of the things they like about Trump is with Trump, it's like Christmas every day. It's not that he's making their lives much better. It's the sticking it to the liberal part that they get to celebrate. They like the trolling. They like him insulting, sending out mean tweets, attacking liberal celebrities and things like that. So with that, from that standpoint, for MAGA, dealing with Trump, it's like Christmas every day because he's attacking people we don't like, and we love that.
That's true. They get a kick out of it, which is stupid. If you think about it, which is stupid, because he's not addressing the real problems of the United States.
Yeah,
he's not.
Not only that, but then the same folks that celebrate the liberal tears or $2 gas and mean tweets or fuck your feelings, the same folks will then turn around and say, why do we have to be so divided and tribalistic? Why can't we come together and call each other Americans? Like, you didn't see what you were just talking about at the rally? I mean, so I don't think they realize the contradiction in it.
And let's look at this issue with Venezuela. That boat, the little small boat, very little small boat. And you have to take the whole boat out. Come on, man. So you got big Navy ships. You could have intercepted that boat. You don't have to take the whole boat out, bro. And then now you sending 10 fighter jets over to
F-35s, to
talk about in the Caribbean. For what?
What happened to no new wars under Trump? He seems gung-ho to get in the fight this time.
This is what I'm saying. The dude is I don't know if his head is there, man. I think he could be like, well, I'm on my last leg. I'm gonna do whatever I want before I, check out. It could be that. Think about it. I mean, I don't know, bro.
Jeez. Well, I mean, because ever since
I'm serious.
Well, I mean, ever since he became president, he has literally been talking about doing things that involve hostility, from Greenland to the Panama Canal. I mean, making Canada the 51st state, Now we're talking about going after Venezuela. He obviously bombed Iran. I mean, I think he was involved in Yemen. We did a little bombing in Yemen. I mean, it's like ever since he became president, because this is the guy seeking the Nobel Peace Prize, claiming to have ended wars. But he is launching a significant. I mean, only 8 months he's done all of this stuff.
Exactly. Not even not even a quarter of his term yet.
Right.
And then can we do this another 4 years, 3 years?
Do we have a choice?
You can move out the country.
Would you ever consider leaving?
I sure would.
Yeah, it's something that's, because I lived overseas and I've seen other places and better. I've considered it too. I don't know if I would, but I've already lived overseas for a number of years, and I'm not closed to it. I'm not closed-minded to it. I mean, if I can find happiness or freedom or peace of mind somewhere else, I'm not close to doing that. Right now, I'm able to find most of that still here. But if it starts looking like the walls are closing in on me, I'm not opposed to being an expat.
Well, yeah, it's not for everybody, Tim. I know that it's not for everybody. I mean, if you somebody that travel the world, then you have more of an open mind. But if you somebody that just travel within the country, you're gonna have second thoughts, like because you don't know what's out there.
Yes.
You have no idea.
But here's the problem, though. If for anybody that has that fear that Trump is somehow going to become a dictator or do some crazy shit like that, people need to realize one of the core tenets of dictators is they don't let the citizens leave very easy. If you're a citizen in North Korea, you can't leave. I mean, if you're a citizen of Russia, it's not that easy to leave. They don't let you just leave and come and go.
Exactly, and that's the thing about it is before it get too bad, leave now. And I know that's kind of, I'm not trying to scare nobody or nothing, but that's the thing about it. Like you say, you wait too long, it's too late.
You're stuck. Yeah, you don't just get to leave.
You're right. He'll make it where your passport ain't no good.
Right. Not to mention, if we keep going down this path of isolating folks and making enemies out of folks, and for some reason we start looking like we're going to be involved in a big military conflict, you need the people to stay, maybe to participate in the war too. So yeah. That's
another thing. And then certain countries you go to, they don't want you. Yeah. Oh, you from USA? You can't come here. That could be another problem.
Yeah, I got a friend right now that left the country and is overseas, and she said that she's went places and the hostility towards Americans is already there. There are places out there, because we're telling people get the fuck out of our country. If you can't speak English, leave, and so they're starting to tell, there's a whole lot of American expats that live in Europe. They don't speak German and French. There's a whole lot of Americans living in Europe that don't speak the languages of those countries. So when our people going around saying, if you don't speak English, you shouldn't be here. I mean, some of them folks are seeing that, and they're like, well, shit, we're going to tell it to the Americans that come over here.
Exactly. So they see how I feel.
Yeah.
And it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling.
Yeah, because English is widely spoken in Europe, so you can navigate fine just speaking English. But fact is, if you live in Germany, the main language is German. If you live in Sweden, they have their own language. I mean, you live in France, the main language is French. So yeah, if we start telling folks that you need to learn how to speak English or get the fuck out, and they got access to Sky News and Fox and stuff like that, and they're seeing the lack of empathy that our people are having, they're going to start telling Americans that are in their countries the same thing.
Exactly. And that's one thing I was saying too, is a lot of countries, a lot of citizens don't understand is people from other countries can see our news better than we can see it.
Yeah.
They countries have websites. You can stream and see all America. They can see all Trump's, all his conversations, every little conversation he have. They can see that. Not
only can they see our news, but they, Hollywood is a big exporter of entertainment as well. So they're getting our movies in magazines and all of it. They're getting all of our media as well. So they're like, for instance, when I moved to Australia, I was amazed that they knew the entire Black experience. They knew all about the Martin Luther King struggle. I'm like, wait, I don't know. I don't even know who leads your country. You know all of this shit from throughout our history. So because our movies and everything go over there. So if Americans, you get episodes of Law and Order that say straight from America's headlines. So they know very well what's going on in this country. We don't tend to pay attention to what's going on in other countries unless we're at war with them. But they know what's going on in America all the time. So, you are right. They know this
That's
stuff.
true. These other countries, you want to get rid of slavery here in our textbooks, them other countries, they already got it documented.
Yep.
It's already documented because it's been how many years? They already have that information. They're going to teach it. You don't have to teach it here, but they're going to teach it. So, you understand what I'm saying?
Do you see Trump as somebody who would possibly be wanting to roll back history or eliminate parts of our history or downplay or whitewash it?
I sure do. Yeah. Yeah, I think he would, whitewash it.
Yeah.
I think he would try to whitewash it for whatever reason. I don't even know, Tim. I really don't know why he would do that.
Well, I saw a meme the other day that says, it had two phrases. One was, those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. You've probably heard that one. But the second part of it said, those who try to eliminate history intend to repeat it.
I never heard that one. Intend.
Yeah. If you don't know history, you're likely to do it all over again. If you're trying to hide history, you probably intend to do it all over again.
Right.
So,
That's pretty bogus.
Yeah, that was pretty bogus. Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. If you want to do all this shit over again, you would want to hide history so people don't recognize the signs of what you're doing. Because there's a lot of people around the world, and I know MAGA will disagree with this, but there's a lot of people around the world that are already saying that America's starting to look like 1930s Germany.
Of course. Yeah, I would agree with that. I hope we ain't going that way, but I can understand why people are saying that, because he's trying to erase stuff and, they see everything we see, Tim. What I'm saying, these countries is thousands of miles away. They don't even speak English, but they getting the same news we getting. And sometimes they get news better than we getting it, because our news is not covering everything. Trump do so much. Everything ain't covered, man. You got to really be digging. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, because, like, for instance, what's really happening in Gaza, most of our networks are covering that only so-so. What's happening in Ukraine. Our networks are only covering that stuff. Trump claims to have ended 7 wars. The wars were not covered in America. If they existed, like he said, they weren't. You didn't hear nothing about, this time last year, when Biden's term was coming to a conclusion, you didn't hear anything about 8 ongoing wars. We weren't talking about this, so I don't know, because he's claiming that all of these wars broke out under Obama and Biden and George W. Bush, but no new wars under him. Like, I don't recall this time last year hearing about 8 wars, so who did they break out under? Because when he was campaigning, I never heard him mention, if you elect me, I'm going to end the war in the Congo, or I'm going to end the war between Pakistan and India. I don't remember hearing anything about this. All of a sudden you get elected and suddenly you're breaking up all these wars that we never heard about. So I'm like, did they start under your term? Because I didn't hear you mention them under Biden.
Sure didn't.
So, I don't know.
Now, let me ask you about this. Now, the Korean plant down in Georgia.
Yes, the Hyundai plant.
The Hyundai. You got a Hyundai. I think they making automobiles. They assembling automobiles, just like a Ford plant assemble cars.
Right.
And then next door, they are building a battery plant. Okay. So they probably had some of their citizens come over on work visas, right? To help, get the thing going. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Get the building up and going. You have a language barrier and whatnot. So, yeah, they got 300 or something people that know what they're doing, they skilled, and they trying to get the thing up and going. Because Trump promise, if you guys come over here, I'll give you a break, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
But now he busts the plan. Now all these Koreans are in a ICE facility.
Yeah, and I heard the Koreans are sending diplomats to get their people back. But if they're in ICE facility, but I mean, were they here on an undocumented status though? Did they have a legal right to be here?
The thing is, you got to watch the news, how the news word things, Tim. There were about 500 people arrested. 300 were Korean. Now, what the news is saying that some people came over undocumented, some people came over illegally, some people visa expired. Okay, they're not saying who the citizens were. I believe all the Koreans came over here legitimately. That's my opinion.
Well, fact is, though, I mean, I hate to defend.
Listen, hold on. Listen, I think their visa might have expired because what's going on with Trump. How when you try to go redo your visa, they locking them up.
Then you guys.
So maybe them people were scared.
Well, I'm just simply saying, if you have a visa that's expired, ICE can get you. You do qualify. Now, is it because of Trump? Yeah, we know Trump is anti-immigrant. Trump doesn't want anybody really to come in the country, other than maybe a few Europeans. Trump is anti-immigrant, but he has the legal right to be anti-immigrant. So if you're here as a Korean immigrant and you know your visa is expired, you have to understand what ICE is doing. They can do it to you. They can legally do that to you.
The thing is, Tim, what I'm saying is that these guys came over here on a legal work visa. Okay, they don't.
But it wasn't legal at the time they got caught up, though. The legal portion of it was no longer in existence.
It may have expired.
Then it's not legal anymore.
I get what you're saying, and do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
maybe they were scared to renew.
I hear all of that, but it is what it is. I get that they were scared to renew, but once again, if the guy has made it so that he's kicking people out, being scared is no excuse. They're going to catch up to you eventually, and they're going to deport you. I mean, he wasn't going to let you renew. That's why you're scared. I mean, fact is, if you're in this country and you do not have citizenship, I'm even talking to green card holders. If you're in this country and you do not have citizenship, even if you've never committed a crime in your life, under the Trump administration, you are not safe. They want everybody gone, period. So even the folks that are going through the legal process to work there, like the asylum seekers and all them were 100% legal, the TPS people 100% legal, trying to work through the courts so that they can get certified. Trump, if you don't have citizenship, you are at risk under Trump. It does not matter if you're legal or illegal. I know they're saying, we like immigrants, just come legally, but even the ones that have come legally, you're good to go. I mean, because what they're doing is they're just saying, we've decided that the process you're using to stay legally, we terminated that process. Like what they did with the TPS, like what they did with the asylum seekers. All of them people were here legally, and they just terminated the process.
Okay, so my issue with that is you got USA troops stationed in South Korea. Get them the hell up out of our country. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
They're not going to do that because then Kim Jong-un...
You're going to treat our citizens... No, get them up out of here.
They're not going to do that because then Kim Jong-un would take over South Korea. I got to move it on. Go ahead, real quick.
Kim Jong-un, South Korea is they solid. He ain't about to take over.
They are a lot more solid. They're a lot more solid with U.S. troops on their soil.
They can handle North Korea without USA.
I don't think they want to do that.
You don't think so?
No.
They got Japan. They got Japan next door.
South Korea is not going to expel the U.S. soldiers. They just not going to do that. North Korea is crazy. They're not going to expel the American troops out of there.
Okay, I'll let you go with that one.
All right, appreciate it. If they do that, that would be a huge surprise. I mean, there are some nations I could see kicking Americans out. South Korea, because they got an ongoing threat with North Korea. I doubt if that's one of those countries, though. I only see that applying to the brown and black people. Well, the Asians are not brown or black. I mean, kicked out a bunch of South Koreans. They're not brown or black. I think that replacement theory is in full effect. And that, I mean, fact is, if you go back to the 50s, the percentage of whites to everyone else in America was much greater than it is now. I think now the country's like 60% white or something like that. It was 70, 80% back then. So people do believe that whites are being replaced. And closing the borders to non-whites would probably be one of the best ways of reversing that. In addition to trying to get the birth rates up and stuff like that. So I do believe replacement theory has a lot to do with it. Tim, did you hear the new Bureau of Labor Statistics, 300,000 foreign-born workers lost jobs and 3 million American-born workers gained jobs? No, I did not hear that. In fact, I heard that the Trump administration only produced 22,000 jobs. The job numbers for the Trump administration are terrible. Terrible. So no, I have not heard what you said. Zeke said did you hear the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 300,000 foreign-born workers lost their jobs? So I guess foreign-born workers being deported and things like that. So 300,000 of them lost their jobs. And you say 3 million American-born workers gained jobs. Not only have I not heard that, I don't buy it for the simple fact that most of the jobs the foreign-born workers are losing, Americans don't want to do those jobs. You hear all of these farmers that are complaining that they've lost their workforce. Americans are not showing up in droves to work on farms and shit like that and pick cabbage and shit. So I don't believe that, if the belief is we can get rid of these illegal immigrants and fill those jobs with Americans, that ain't gonna work. That's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. Americans don't want those jobs. You found a few of them, maybe some kids that are working at the high school or some shit like that, but most full-grown Americans do not want to do the same jobs that full-grown immigrants are doing. They don't want to live 10 to a house, and the employers of these jobs do not want to pay Americans the salaries that Americans are used to getting. So for Americans to do the same jobs the immigrants have done, Americans would have to be willing to take a serious downgrade to the quality of their lives. Serious downgrade. The American dream for an American-born citizen is totally different than it is for an immigrant. Americans already start out, level 3 or 4. Immigrants have to work their way up to, like I said, 10 to a house, all that. Americans don't want to live like that. Americans don't want to live at a job where you're getting paid, 10 cents per cherry you pick or some shit like that. They don't want to do that. So I don't think you're going to get that to happen. Exactly, they'd rather be bums and live off the government. You know something, I hate to say it, but if I'm going to work every day, working hard, and I still can barely afford to survive, barely afford to put a roof over my head, barely afford to eat, and I'm actually working hard every day, I'd rather live off the fucking government. The only reason I work is to make money and take care of myself. If the money I'm making is not enough to take care of myself, then damn it, I don't want to work. I'm not working just to say I'm working. Fuck that. I mean, the money they're making is not hardly even enough to live off of. So yeah, count me in. I'd rather live off the government too. I mean, look, ain't no reward in saying, yeah, I live like a bum, but at least I'm going to work every day. That ain't a flex to me. I don't see nothing great about bragging that you go to work every day and you struggling like that. That ain't something great. I'd rather be the dude living off the fucking government. Looking in the, by the way, because when you go to work, they're living off of you. This isn't even typical enlightening centrism bullshit. This is the worst kind of opportunism. You really out here pounding replacement theory. I'm not pounding replacement theory. There's plenty of people. Listen, if you're going to try to tell me that there's not a significant amount of Americans that believe replacement theory is real, you can go with that. I mean, I assume you would probably tell me racism ended 200 years ago and all that shit too, but replacement theory is alive and well. I've had many guests on the show who are concerned with replacement theory and admit it. I didn't make this shit up. I didn't know nothing about it until people started telling me about it. So, yeah. Black man calling for slavery is funny as hell. Don't know what that means. No MAGA has ever lived off the government. Yeah, that's bullshit. Let me go back to the box. Continuing on with Twisted 77. Good evening, Twisted. I'm sure you can tell me a few things I'm getting wrong, right?
Well, no. Well, how's Trump hurting your feelings today?
I'm trying to figure out why would he post a picture of himself among, basically orchestrating Chicago burning in rubble.
Uh-huh. You know how to make jokes, Tim? You have no sense of humor?
So you think of the president...
I asked you a question. You answer the question.
Yeah, I know how to make jokes.
Okay.
What's next? He gonna make a joke about how he banged a 13-year-old? What do you guys find humorous? This is an American city set ablaze, and you're telling me that's a joke? Who laughs at that?
I remember Kathy Griffin making a joke about with the don't do that.
Give me what you got. Give me what you got.
She did a severed head of Trump's holding Trump's severed head. Do you remember that?
Did you laugh at it?
Remember? I didn't laugh at it.
Okay, so why don't you?
Wait. Let me finish answering the question before you start screaming. I didn't laugh at it, but I recognize the joke when I see it. Even if I don't think it's funny, I still recognize the joke when I see it. You see that, and you latch onto anything negative about Trump. You got to scream about it, had you?
Okay, so let me ask you: is this negative? Hold on. Hang on. Is this negative to you?
Negative?
Yeah.
I think it's funny, but as far as anything else goes, it's whatever.
So you think
I don't take any offense to that.
So you think the president posting a picture of one of his own cities in ruins that he's overseeing, you don't see nothing negative about that? You think the people of Chicago should see this as a positive?
Is the city in ruins? I don't see a city in ruins. I see a city in the sky in the background.
So
I see fire on one side, but that's not city in ruins, as you just said.
What's burning? What are the helicopters there for?
How the hell should I know?
And so you see this as a positive.
It's obviously a play on Apocalypse Now. It's a play on a movie.
Did you see the movie?
What else? Yeah, I've seen the movie. What else you got? What else you got? This is not the only thing you're latching on to tonight. Tell me you've got something else to talk about than this.
Okay, first of all, before we go to anything else, I think the way you're viewing this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. So it's hard to move. Like I said, what's next? Joking about banging a kid? I mean, if you see this as comedy coming from the president.
I don't know why you're so obsessed with people banging kids. You keep talking about it. It's weird. Moving along.
If you see this as comedy, and before we can even move on to anything else, I'm trying to figure out how should the people of Chicago see this as their city. Because he stated Chicago is about to find out why we call it the War Department. I mean, he even said that. So that's comedy too, huh?
Oh, so it's not... We didn't have the war on crime, the war on drugs, the war on homelessness, the war on poverty. We didn't have all those things. Don't you remember that?
The war on a particular city, though? On a city.
Just war on crime, right? We remember those days, don't we?
He said...
Where Clinton was out there screaming about a war on drugs and war on crime and war on this and war on that, but now it's a War Department, so it's a bad thing.
Okay, is it possible to hold Trump accountable without bringing up the entire American history? Okay, bringing up that somebody else did something equally as bad is not a defense for Trump. Every time you bring up something that Trump done wrong, bringing up another bad actor is not a defense for him.
No, what I'm saying is nobody cared when they did those things.
Yeah, you did.
It's an issue.
You did.
I didn't.
The reason, you say nobody cared. The reason you were able to recite that stuff is because when they did it at the time, it was big news. People did care. You're telling me nobody cared about Kathy Griffin holding up a severed head? The CIA came and visited her. People did care about that.
Well, they cared about that because of the sitting president.
Okay, this is a major U.S. city.
That's the FBI visited her for that reason.
This is a major U.S. city.
The bulk of us didn't care. Like, I don't care. I didn't care when she did that. It didn't matter to me.
So when he says Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War, how should the people of Chicago view that in your opinion?
I already just told you that. Why do you keep making me repeat myself?
Because I didn't understand what you said.
I said war on crime.
He didn't say nothing about crime here.
Does he have to?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times has he said why he's going in there?
I don't. Okay, when you say
you don't know, you don't know. Wait. You don't know why he's put in the National Guard in Chicago? You have no idea.
He's never said he's going to go into Chicago and do what's on this picture here.
No, he said that they were going after criminals, right? Or did you miss that part?
This is how you go after criminals, by blowing the whole city up?
That's not what I asked you. There's no whole city's not blowing up. Go on.
What is on fire, Twisted?
Oh
What
my
is
God.
what is on fire?
I can't believe you're focused.
Why are there helicopters flying around? What's going on? You tell me what you're seeing in this picture. What do you look at this picture?
It's a play. Hold on, it's a play on the movie poster for Apocalypse Now.
Okay, and what was happening in that movie?
That was the Vietnam War.
Right. So he's talking about going. That ain't going to deal with crime. You're comparing it to a war film where people are being slaughtered.
Because people are being slaughtered in Chicago.
Yeah, but he is the one that's talking about doing it now.
No, he's not. And you know that.
Why would he say Chicago's going to find out? Oh, Chicago's going to find out why it's the Department of War.
Tim. Can we move on to something else, or are you just going to focus on this? Because if you're going to focus on this, I'm just going to go.
Whatever I'm.
We both know the joking. We know what's in play here. It's a moot point.
I think the problem we're having is the notion that you review that as a joke is insane. That's the problem. That's where our stumbling block is that you're the president of this city and you're joking, as you say, about it being in smoldering rubble. I don't see why that's something you would joke about.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. Okay, we'll move on to the next topic, but your response on that is dismal. In regards to this speedboat, because the whole topic of the show I'm asking is the president a damn murderer? Now, you see what happened with the speedboat. I'll give you the quick second here. It's only a quick clip. But
I've seen it.
But I want to illustrate something. With this boat being blown up, here are the stats on that boat. Now, that boat is a speedboat capable of doing 50 to 70 knots per hour. 2 to 500 gallons of fuel. It burns about a gallon to 2 gallons of fuel per nautical mile it travels. It has a 300 to 600 mile range. Trump says that this boat was about to bring drugs to America. America from Venezuela is 729 miles away. This boat is not even capable of doing half of that distance. So when he says this boat was bringing drugs to the United States, what the hell is that based on?
I don't know. Depends on his intelligence.
It's incapable of doing it. It doesn't have the range.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you something. Have you ever driven cross country?
Yeah.
Okay. Does your vehicle have that range?
No, I know there's gas stations along the way.
Oh, so they can't stop and refuel?
Can you show us any evidence that was going to happen? Why didn't you blow up the refueling stations?
Well, they'd be attacking some island, now, wouldn't it?
If you're attacked, so
waters. But
that doesn't make sense. Wait. So you're telling me the only time they can attack these people is in international waters?
Yeah.
Where have you seen that at? Where are you getting that from?
It's legal.
So in other words, even though they're bringing drugs into America, as long as they go on the shore somewhere, they're free to walk around. They wouldn't touch them.
No, I didn't say that.
That's exactly what you just said. They have to be in international waters.
You said to blow up the boat, yes.
So if the boat docks somewhere, even though they still have the poison, they're still capable, they're still deemed terrorists, they're still trying to bring it to America. As long as they dock on land, you can't touch them.
Why would you let them?
Let's say that's the first time you discovered them was they were on land.
Okay, that's a different story then. You'd send somebody to arrest them. But why would you let them get that far?
This what you're saying.
You know what's really weird to me? That you guys are out here defending drug dealers.
What's really weird to me is you can't even prove this is a fucking drug dealer. How do you know he's a drug dealer? How do you know that?
How do you know? I don't.
Then why are you okay?
He had it. Wait. Hold on. Before you start yelling, okay?
You're not making sense.
Okay, well, if you actually let me answer the question before you start screaming,
you already did.
I can answer it. Okay. No. I said, I don't know. But
Somebody had to have come to him and with intelligence and said, here's these guys. We know they're coming. What do you want to do here? Do you think he just stopped and said, hey, look, there's a boat there. Blow it up? You think that's how it works?
No, I don't believe.
Well, then how does it work?
He just doesn't like these people and killed them. That's how it works.
How do you think he determined what to blow up and what not to blow up?
Shit, it could be somebody traveling between. I'm trying to answer you. I'm trying to answer you.
Okay.
Fact is, he killed 11 people, provided no proof at all. We just have to assume what he was saying is accurate. No proof at all. There's no drugs that have been captured. We don't even know who the people are. He's claiming they're Trinidad Agua. We know our government from weapons of mass destruction lie about shit and make mistakes. The idea that what Trump says is 100% true, we should just know that is crazy. Our government has proven to us that they can lie.
Okay. So how do you think the process works? Do you think he just picked a boat randomly and said, blow this one up? How does it work then?
For some reason, they picked a bunch of trucks and said they have weapons of mass destruction in them and started a war. Yeah, it can work just like you're talking about.
I didn't ask you about that.
I'm telling you
about that boat. You're pivoting onto something else.
No,
tell me about that boat. How did they pick it?
It could have been a witness gave them a bad tip. It could have been any fucking thing. They could be paying people on the ground in Venezuela to get them tips, and somebody could have gave them a bad tip. It could come from any damn where.
Okay, so they didn't just pick a random boat?
They didn't.
Had intelligence of some kind?
No. Here's the point. Here's the point, Twisted. First of all, we've never had a case where carrying drugs is an automatic death sentence. That's the first thing. Second thing is, we don't normally kill people without giving them due process. If they're for drug crimes, at least. You're talking about people who are bringing drugs. Even if you go to Cambodia or Vietnam, some of these countries that will execute you for bringing drugs in, you get due process. They just murdered these people. These people had no ability to defend themselves in court or anything. And we know they could have captured these people. Murdering them was not necessary. They actually could have captured them and proved the case.
And what? They could have captured him. Okay.
Then it would be believable.
So is this the first time in American history that this has happened?
Like I told you before, if he does something wrong, pointing to somebody else who did something wrong in the past is not a defense for him.
You just did the same damn thing when you tried to point to weapons of mass destruction.
No, I pointed to weapons of mass destruction to say that the government lies. There's proof of it. The government tells lies.
And the government does the same exact thing that happened here, had happened with every administration.
So the conversation we're having here, is it logical in your opinion for somebody to say what they're telling you might not be true? They may have killed 11 innocent people.
No, what I'm telling you is this is business as usual.
Killing people.
The only reason you care about it in this instance is because Trump did it. You didn't care when Biden did it. You didn't care when Obama did it.
When did Biden do this? When did Biden do this?
Oh yeah, they've done it before.
Give me an example. What are you talking about?
I'm not going to do your damn research.
I've never heard it before. You're going to bring something up and you're going to bring something up and then tell me to research it. I'm going to submit to you what you're saying didn't happen. You're making it up. That didn't happen.
Well, of course that's what you're going to say. Even if I give you facts, you'll say you're just making it up.
But the fact is, you're not giving me facts. You're giving me go research. You're giving me nothing.
Now you're going to make me look it up right now.
Yeah.
You're not going to look it up. You're going to make me look it up. Fine, I'll look it up. Keep talking.
It didn't happen. Good luck looking it up. It did not happen. Biden just didn't go wrong.
And
it didn't happen.
You told me, stop and frisk was unconstitutional, and I proved you wrong then. But all right, let's see.
Okay, you didn't prove that wrong right either. But it did. Biden has never killed Biden has never killed drug dealers hundreds of miles away from America.
I didn't. Did I say drug dealers? I said no.
He didn't do this. He didn't do what Trump did. I'm going to reiterate that. He didn't do what Trump just did. Biden has never done this. You're not going to find any clip or any research that's going to tell you that Biden did exactly what Trump did here. He's never done that. Go ahead and you type away. I'll read a couple comments because you're not going to find that. You're not. Good luck. Find me the information. Trump is doing an awesome job, and heck with the enemies. Trump is actually creating enemies with him. Small dog boats do not carry 11 passengers. That boat is not capable of reaching America from New Zealand. That boat right there was not capable of reaching America. You can say whatever you want about how many passengers it carried. What that boat was not, it does not have the range to reach America. Trump said that boat was bringing drugs to America. It does not have the range. What Twisted, my caller, said is the only way it could happen, they would have to have refueling routes planned along the way. And of course, they didn't show any proof that they had places to refuel. And of course, they didn't bomb the refueling station. So that's just a guess at best. Have you found the information, Twisted?
Yes, I believe, I'm just kind of getting an initial.
Kingpin, no.
Kingpin don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. And I mean that. He doesn't. He's a clueless moron who thinks he knows anything. The fact that he calls himself a king just is laughable in its own right. Okay?
Give me the information.
It was the Red Sea.
What happened in the Red Sea? They were dealing drugs?
They attacked people. It wasn't drugs. It was.
Then it's an irrelevant comparison. What are you?
How was it irrelevant?
Okay, what did Biden do in the King Sea, and what did he claim he did it for? What reason did he give?
They attacked Houthi rebels in the Red Sea. Okay, international waters.
For what reason?
Was it? Dude, there's so much information here. There's not enough time for me to go through it all. Okay. You can look it up yourself. Like I said,
that's crazy.
Look. Here's the thing. Everyone's going to say, well, maritime law says that they can't do what they did, right?
No.
I'm sure.
No, that ain't my argument. My argument is we've never had it so that simply dealing drugs gives you an instant death sentence. That's the difference. We've never done that before.
Well, they're labeled as terrorists.
Well, then that's different. We've never labeled drug dealers as terrorists before.
Okay. So
what he's doing is different.
Die from drug overdoses every year? Or drug-related things every year.
What are you gonna do? Label the doctor's office as a terrorist office because they give out all kinds of opioids that people shouldn't get? I mean, if you're gonna really go after drug dealers, then
I'm talking about narcotics.
That is a narcotic.
Oh my God, Jews. Okay, fentanyl and cocaine. The two things that they bring from out of the country.
You don't think
how many people a year?
You don't think doctors?
How many people a year do you think that they attribute to illegal drugs being brought in from overseas by these terrorists? How many people die every year?
You don't think doctors were prescribing fentanyl?
I asked you a question. I don't care about doctors describing anything because that's not what we're talking about. So that's not.
You're talking about drugs and hurting people.
I'm talking about illegal drugs such as fentanyl and cocaine. That's two things.
What about
how many people? How many people die every year from that?
I don't fucking know. Less than cigarettes. Less than alcohol.
You don't okay, but you know what they attribute to it? 20,000 people a year. They attribute to 20,000 people a year. Is that not enough for you?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
You want me to explain why? Because at the end of the day,
stuff just from brought in from overseas.
I hear what you're saying. I hear you loud and clear.
The total number.
I hear you loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear.
But that's
I hear you loud. The fact is, the people that are dying dying from this shit is dying because they took it voluntarily. So you're not going to do what Trump is doing, just like the war on drugs did not work. If people want to get high, you're not going to do some shit to stop them from getting high. If they can't get it south of the border, they'll get it from north of the border. If they can't get it north of the border, they'll grow it or find a synthetic way to make it themselves. You can't stop people from getting high. That's what you're trying to do.
You can't stop them cartels. Just let them have their way, right? That's exactly what your argument is with Chicago. Well, you can't stop anything. Just let it happen.
Isn't that your argument with gun violence and school shootings? Isn't that the same argument you give with gun violence?
Gun violence.
Yeah, it's
school shootings.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to talk about that one?
No, I got to move it on. I can't keep you on too long there. But
now you want to move.
I got. Listen, you've had 20 minutes. I got to move it on.
Ignored.
You talking crazy tonight.
Security, and he just ignored them, and you don't care about that.
You talking crazy tonight.
I get it. You can't. This is why you don't want to do that one-on-one I talked about.
I'm down with a one-on-one
You know,
anytime.
I'm going to run you into the ground because I will have all my research done. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have it up on the screen, and then you can do shit about it.
Well,
Okay, and your little cronies over here. By the way, the next one that sends me a death threat is in deep shit.
why would anybody? Everybody loves
I
you,
will be-
Twisted. They all love you, Twisted. Nobody's
Oh
gonna send
no,
you
they
a
don't
death
hate my,
threat.
they hate my guts because I don't conform with their BS,
I
and they
think
know it. I don't give a shit if they like me or not.
I think it's because you come with some crazy ass opinions. I gotta go.
It's just
Appreciate
not
it.
crazy ass opinions. It's truth. Deal with it.
All right, I'll try to deal with it in another lifestyle. Looking in the comments though, he's living up to his name, Twisted. Listen, I enjoy hearing opposing dialogue, and Twisted, I enjoy talking to Twisted. We don't agree on anything, and one of these days we are going to have me and Twisted are going to sit there and speak for quite a while and have a good debate. I'll let you guys judge it and add opinions to it, but obviously he's pushing back on things that are just way off the charts with me, such as the president and this whole apocalyptic picture and indicating it's just a joke or something like that. I cannot imagine anybody on the left doing this in the right saying, no, that's just a joke. Look, at the end of the day, if that picture on my screen there you're looking at here, if you consider that as a joke, I mean, I don't know how much more you can have a joke in poor taste. Put it this way, what's on the screen is so awful that his only defense was to go to Kathy Griffin holding up a severed head of President Trump. Now, there's been a million jokes told about President Trump. This one is so bad that he had to go use that as a defense. And keep in mind, Kathy Griffiths is a comedian. She's not an actual president. Her joke was in poor taste. I'm not going to pretend like it was something great as she should have said it. Her joke was in poor taste as well. But there's a significant difference between a comedian saying something and a president of the United States doing it. At some point, and this is where we've had the problem with Trump and some of these statements from day one, is that he's lowered the bar so low that people believe that he should be able to say the same things as a raunchy comedian on stage to the American people. I mean, what's next? Andrew Dice Clay said the same thing, so he can say it too? I mean, that's what we're talking about. Like, you know, when they say, have you no decency? You ever heard of that phrase? Have you no decency? Why are we comparing the president to a raunchy comedian? He's on TV saying this stuff to the American public, if not the world. And we're comparing him to Kathy Griffin? This is where I'm simply saying, is there a bar at all? I mean, really, is there a bar at all for President Trump? I can find somebody who has said something shitty throughout the American population, no matter what you're talking about. So the president can say it? You know, well, he just up there quoting Richard Pryor, huh? I mean, just anything, just quoting horrible shit. I don't know. To me, it just seems like there should be some kind of moral standard somewhere, because using Kathy Griffin as a defense for what the president said makes no sense to me. I mean, that's a comedian, somebody who often pushes the envelope and says crazy shit like that. The president should not be doing that. The president is somebody that children have access to. It's going to be in the Smithsonian. Kids are going to be doing book reports. Children don't have access to Kathy Griffin. I mean, her shows are 18 and over. But yet, we don't want children reading about trans and all of that stuff. I think people are picking and choosing what they're okay with and allowing what he is doing to just slip by. And this is just one of the things. I mean, Trump obviously tweeted out Biden hog-tied in the trunk of a car. I mean, he's done some pretty raunchy shit. And well, it's just another joke. It's just a joke. Like, who laughs at this shit? And then all of a sudden somebody called Trump a bigot or a racist or something, and then they suddenly insulted. Or Trump derangement syndrome. I don't understand why you guys hate him so much. Well, you were laughing at the stuff that they found to hate him for. The problem is he's doing stuff and you're just laughing it off. The people are telling you why they don't like him. You're just ignoring them. I'm signing off now because I got the fatigue so bad it's making have to go take a bite. Has any of you folks seen the Philadelphia Karen? You know, the woman that it was a home run ball hit, and the father of the father of a child that was at the ball game took the baseball and gave it to his kid, and this Karen comes over and demands the ball back, and the father just says fuck it and gives it to her. I just wanted to bring it up. You talk about fatigue. How many times you got to see these fucking Karens before you get fatigue? So I just want to point that out. If you want to talk about fatigue, make sure you throw that in there. They have not shared any evidence. Yeah, to me, the whole reason my last caller gave for the boating thing is insane. I just look at it like this. You should have to provide some kind of evidence when you're murdering people. If you're gonna blow up a boat full of drug dealers, you should have to provide some kind of evidence. MAGA reacts. Good evening.
Tim, you know they just had a huge drug bust down here in Miami like 2 days ago.
Okay.
So obviously, whatever their source of intelligence is, it's working because and they found the drugs here in Miami, and I guess they blew up the first part of the pipeline.
You got a drug bust.
It's not like A to B. It's usually A to B to C to D before it gets to us.
I'm not gonna make that.
Isn't coming all the way to Miami. It doesn't mean it doesn't.
Yeah,
it could go to Mexico. It could go anywhere.
And the drugs could have came from anywhere too. I'm not gonna make the leap that a major drug bust in Miami automatically equals something that was coming out of a country like Venezuela 1,700 miles away. You can't, I mean, there's a bunch of countries south of the border that send drugs to America. You can't just automatically assume where it was coming from Venezuela 1,700 miles away. What happened in Miami, there's no guarantee that had anything whatsoever to do with what took place in Venezuela.
No, it's just proof of their competency. They're very competent and it's just proof that they're actually doing a good job because they fucking found some drugs. I think it was the biggest drug bust to date.
Okay, you get a good bust, you get a large...
Why they didn't have any drugs? Well, they found the drugs in Miami.
Okay, you get a large drug bust in Miami, and you say that proves that they are competent. You do realize currently right now in America, anybody that wants to get high can get high. Competent how? Trump's been in office almost a year. Ain't nobody in America having a hard time getting high. Okay, you got one bust in Miami. For all you know, some of the drug, if we're going to speculate, for all you know, the drug dealers may have said, we'll give you this one if you leave the Louisiana shipment alone, we'll tell you about one in Miami. You don't know what went on. But that ain't got nothing to do with Venezuela. There's no way you can make that connection 1,700 miles away.
Listen, this shit's obvious. They don't really hide it.
Obvious how?
What do you mean? It's obvious where the drugs are coming from. It's obvious who's dealing it. I mean, they make fucking movies about this shit. I hate, always saying that point, but it's so obvious that we're making movies about it because we know.
YSMD, appreciate the support. Thank you, YSMD. Thank you. Well, when you say it's obvious, you do realize there's a whole bunch of countries south of the border, from Peru to Colombia. All of them countries down there are shipping drugs in America. So what do you mean by obvious? Mexico is producing drugs? What do you mean by obvious?
I think Mexico mostly brings it into the border. It's made in Colombia and other countries, and it's a pipeline.
Right. So
there's multiple steps to it.
In fact, I've never heard until Trump came along that Venezuela was a major player in the drug game. It's always been Peru and Colombia and Mexico and shit. I've never heard that Venezuela was a major producer of drugs in this country. That's something that
I'll give you that one.
Huh?
I'll give you that one, but I'm not an expert in the field, so I can't really tell you.
My opinion is, and I'm not going to say that Venezuela is innocent, but just like I wouldn't say Chicago is innocent of crime. My opinion is Trump picks places, creates a beef with that place, and then elevates it to some kind of emergency. Because if your goal is to stop drugs from coming into America, just like if your goal is to stop crime in America, you wouldn't start with Chicago and you wouldn't start with Venezuela to go after the drugs. There are countries that produce way more drugs for America than Venezuela. Trump is finding areas to figure out some reason to get access to those areas, and then he makes it sound like it's a major emergency. We need to go in here right away. Meanwhile, all these other countries that are producing a hell of a lot more narcotics coming to America, nobody's there. So,
are you saying he's trying to invade Venezuela?
Yes, I'm saying that he doesn't like the current leader there, that they're going after the previous administration, suggesting it was a coup. Trump was friendly with the previous leader of Venezuela. He doesn't like that they're going after the guy. And he's made threats and showed he doesn't favor the current guy that's in charge. So he's coming up with reasons to go after them. He's a vengeful guy. He does that kind of stuff.
Or I think you're confusing Venezuela with another country. Because Venezuela's had Maduro forever, and we never liked Maduro.
Is it Brazil? But you get what I'm saying. Trump comes up with reasons. I mean, we know Trump is. Would you agree rather that Trump is vengeful?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, these countries have been on a shit list even before Trump.
I'm not even just talking about countries, MAGA. I mean against American citizens, universities, media. He's a vengeful person, period.
He's too busy to be vengeful. These people attack him and he attacks back.
What is attacking back? That's revenge, right?
That's just giving them the attention they're asking for.
What is your definition of revenge?
I don't know.
You don't know what the definition of revenge is and you're commenting on it.
I mean, there's revenge and then there's...
What is your definition of revenge?
To get payback for something that someone does.
Okay, you just cited that he does that. You just said he's getting people back that attacked him. So he's a revengeful president. You're just trying not to answer the question.
No, I know, but like you can easily avoid his... You can just easily avoid him. You don't just be fair to him and he's fair to you.
Is he a vengeful president?
I don't want to go that far. I don't think he's that vengeful. For all the people that hate him and wrong him, he doesn't have enough time in the day to be vengeful.
Okay, so why was he talking about taking away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship?
That was funny.
Why was he talking about doing it?
Again, to just distract you from something else.
Why would he just pick a random citizen and threaten to take away their citizenship to distract
Rosie
you?
O'Donnell isn't random. He's been beefing with her since before he was president.
Are you talking revenge now? Are we getting into the area of revenge? So he is doing something back to her because they were beefing.
Just two people who have hated each other the whole time and they're talking shit back and forth. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't taken away her shit.
Why was he talking about taking away her? Why was he doing that? Why was he talking about doing it to begin with?
Just to fuck with her.
Why was he fucking with her? Why would he just fuck with somebody for no reason?
No, they've had a rivalry.
Okay,
no reason.
so it is revenge. So he is getting back at her.
It's not revenge. It's just a straight up competition. They're both hate each other. They both throw fucking shit at each other. It's just two people being petty.
So
both Trump and Rosie O'Donnell.
So if two people are throwing shit at each other and being petty, you call that a competition?
I call that just people fucking being mad at each other, throwing shit at each other. It's like fucking what's her name? Crazy Grandma and you. Is she revenging you every time she gets on? Is that revenge every time she gets on and talks shit about you?
If she's talking shit about me and I start talking shit about her back, that's revenge. That's the only. In other words, I wouldn't do it if she wasn't talking shit about me first. That's called revenge. Competition is a ball game. What are you talking about?
No, competition is not the right word, but I don't think revenge is the right word either.
No, competition is not the right word because you're trying to avoid saying revenge and you don't have nothing else to fill in the blank, so you came up with competition.
Payback might be a better word. I'll take payback.
What's the difference between payback and revenge?
Revenge is more sinister. Payback could be a good thing. I could pay you back for money I owe you. I don't know why you always go down this like pointless shit, like the graphics behind you, completely pointless. Who gives a fuck about a funny ass graphic? Just like the Biden being tied up thing, that was hilarious. First time I saw it, I laughed, and then like a year later, you kept bringing it up as like, oh, I can't believe he did this. It's just funny.
So in other words, is there just no standard? I mean, like I said before, if he jokes about having sex with a 14-year-old girl, should you just laugh at that?
No, that's
why not?
disgusting.
Why would if you're okay with him referencing the city burning down, what's wrong with having sex with a 14-year-old? I mean, the question I'm at, where are you drawing the line? What's off limits?
Well, the sex with a 14-year-old is pornographic, so that's where I draw the line.
But burning the city down. Okay, so having sex with the 14-year-old is off limits. But burning down the city she may be living in is okay.
He's not gonna burn the city down. He just.
I didn't say he was gonna burn it down. I didn't say he was gonna burn it.
Is that really what you're?
No, I didn't say he was gonna burn it down. I said, what's the difference? Because I didn't say he was gonna have sex with a 14-year-old. I said joking about it. What's the difference between joking about it versus joking about burning her city down?
Because it's pornographic. If it wasn't pornographic, I wouldn't care.
So burning the city down, is that not murderous?
No, it's not pornographic.
So, no, is it murderous? I didn't say nothing about porno. You're burning down the city where people live at.
Being burned down?
What?
What's up?
If you're joking...
You know how many movies I've watched of Chicago being burned down? Doesn't mean anything.
Burning down the city is not murderous, is what you're saying, right? Nobody dies or anything in this, right?
No, the actual joke is not pornographic, and it's
I'm not talking about porno. I'm talking about murder. I'm talking about murder.
Talking about fucking a 14-year-old is pornographic.
No, we're not talking about that right now. Right now, we're talking about this photo.
Oh, I would marry a 14-year-old. That's less pornographic.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you if burning the city down is murderous.
No, it's not. I mean, what do you mean? Like the actual burning of the city down? Of course it's murderous.
Okay.
But
so if
on
you,
the other hand,
wait a minute. So you admit. So you just admitted that if burning the city down is murderous. Now he's not talking about burning the city down. As you say, he's joking about it. So he's joking about doing something that's murderous.
If you seriously think he's gonna do it, then yes, he's joking.
I didn't say he was going to.
Talking about doing it.
I didn't say he was going to do anything with a 14-year-old. I said he's joking about it. He's joking about doing something that's murderous, and you're saying that that's okay.
But joking about murder is okay. Joking about fucking a 14-year-old is not.
That's stupid.
It's pornographic.
So it's okay to joke about killing her, but it's wrong to joke about having sex with her, because they live in this city. They live in this city too. So it's okay to joke about taking her life, but don't joke about having sex with her.
Yeah. I don't make the rules. It's just how it is. I don't know how you always get so literal with Trump. Like he just invented fucking joking around.
Give me an example. We've had you this. Well, that's a good point. You said I make it sound like he invented joking around. Okay, you've lived through Biden, you've lived through Obama, give me an example of any of those presidents doing something that's equivalent to this. As you say, everybody jokes around. Give me something they've done that's equivalent to this.
Oh, they didn't have a sense of humor.
None of them?
Obama did a lot of funny shit. No, Obama did a lot of Tonight Show. He did.
Give me something that's equivalent to this.
A lot of funny stuff.
So in other words, when you when you responded with they didn't have his sense of humor, then you are admitting that he invented doing this. First you stated that I act like Trump invented joking about stuff like this. So when I asked you to give me an example, you came out and admitted, no, nobody else does stuff like this. So yeah, he did invent it.
Do it, but he didn't invent it. He is the first president to do it, but he didn't invent it.
What's the difference?
Like regular people do it all the time.
We're not talking about regular people. We're talking about the president of 360 million people, not a regular person.
Listen, Trump is more a regular person than a president. I don't know why you just make him sound like a holy pope or something.
Yeah.
You know.
What you're saying? What you're saying makes
shit about Rosie O'Donnell who he hates, and he's posting a funny picture about the city of Chicago, which he wants to go into and fix the crime.
Is that how you fix it about burning the city down? Joking about burning the city down?
No, honestly, I think this is a little bit in poor taste, but...
Finally! Took you forever to get to that.
They always confuse me, like...
How is this confusing?
Don't mean I agree with it, or do I think it's a good taste. It's in poor tape. I could have said that from the first second of this conversation.
Instead of going to the notion of this is a joke, when who the hell? That's why I keep using the 14.
But it's in poor taste.
That's why I keep using the 14-year-old girl example. Who laughs at a president joking about burning down an American city? Who laughs at that?
I think the Apocalypse Now thing is the funny part.
Yeah.
It just that movie is, it's a movie that's been satired so many times, and just Trump's doing it is a little funny. But if you take it literal like you do, like you love to take Trump literal in everything he does, then yeah, it's in poor taste.
I just don't understand why any president of America would joke about one of his own cities burning. I just don't see any comedy to that. I don't see any, like I said, I keep using the 14-year-old girl. Some things are just not funny. I mean, at some point, there has to be a bar. Like the bar is literally on the ground with Trump. I mean, no matter what he does, I mean...
It's not burning because he wants it to burn. It's burning because the movie he's trying to satire is Apocalypse Now, and there was a lot of fire in that movie. So
you know something?
More to do with the movie he picked than anything.
You know something? My opinion is, and I'm sure
if he would have picked Waterworld, would you be mad at Chicago being flooded with water because he picked Waterworld?
Well, my opinion is simple. I personally, you're going to defend Trump no matter what he does. He could literally be walking down the streets of America with a flamethrower in this, and you would say that was a joke.
That's my role in this conversation. My role is to defend Trump, even when I don't agree with him, just to give you the other side, the other perspective.
No, that shouldn't be your role. Why would you do it? So why not defend the 14-year-old thing then?
Because that's indefensible.
I'll tell you one thing.
Like, what would we talk about if I didn't defend Trump? Like, what if I got on there and did like the other guys and just agreed with you?
No, they don't disagree with me. I'll tell you one thing, because I keep bringing hold on, hang on. I'll tell you one thing, because I keep hang on, because I keep bringing up the 14-year-old thing. I'll tell you one thing. There's a greater chance, as opposed to burning down Chicago, like you see joked about here, as you say. There's a greater chance that the 14-year-old thing is more accurate when it comes to Trump. There's a greater chance that he actually did that than he's going to burn down Chicago.
Listen, you know what this reminds me of? All this Epstein bullshit.
Bullshit.
You remember his taxes? Do you remember all this shit the left said about his taxes before they were actually released? And what happened when they were released? Yeah, they were not like nothing to brag about, but they were also nothing to fucking bring him down. They didn't show any connection with Russia. They didn't show any of the shit the left was slobbering about. So, when I hear you guys talk about all this Epstein bullshit, I just remember the other 100 things you got wrong, like his fucking taxes. That's like the best comparison right there.
Well, now that makes for a much...
All the shit, all the hype with his taxes, how did that end up?
That makes for a better argument than the shit you've been making. You're right. When his taxes came out, it turned into a nothing burger. But I'll tell you this right here. When you're being evasive, that's what leads people to believe there's something there. Just like with his taxes. He kept promising, I'm under audit. I'll release him when the audit's over. And then when the audit was over, he kept fighting back. Just like with the Epstein thing. He made folks believe that he was going to release all of that shit. So even if there's nothing there, it's his level of evasiveness that's leading people to make these speculations. Because if it was a liberal refusing to release their taxes, you guys would be saying the same thing. I mean, you're not being transparent. You're hiding something for a reason is what people going to think. I mean, he's constantly pushing back and trying to hide shit. So people think that something's there.
I mean, yes and no. Because he's also like the most transparent person ever. No. But look what happened when he took fucking 2 days off. Everybody thought he was dead.
He's not transparent. If he talks
he's
to
in front of us every fucking day, talking every fucking day.
That don't mean what he's saying is. That don't mean what he's saying is true. He does talk to the media more than anybody else, but most of the time he's talking to the media, he's talking about he won the 2020 election. That ain't true. He done said that 1,000 times. He talked to the media and said they were eating cats and dogs in Springfield. That ain't true. So he talks to the media more than anybody. I'll give you that, but that don't mean he's always being truthful. I mean, he tells a lot of lies too.
Yeah, but you get to know him through the lies too. You get to know someone through the lies. You know what he's fucking scared of. You know what he. You
get to know him through the lies. Is that what you just said? You get to know him through the lies.
For anybody. If I lie about something, then that tells something about me too.
Okay, you get to know him through the lies. Just like his
crazy grandma lying about being black.
Oh my God! Just like his jobs numbers. He don't want the truth to come out with his job numbers. He called the job numbers rigged, fired the person, and now the job numbers coming out now are just as bad. So it's pretty clear you fired an innocent person because they didn't give you the message you wanted to hear.
At least it proves that he isn't rigging the numbers now. Everyone's like, oh, all the future numbers are going to be rigged. I mean, for a guy that's trying to rig the numbers, he's doing a bad job.
Like I said, you're going to defend Trump no matter what. I got to move it on. But you've been hilarious.
That's my job. If my job was to defend Harris, I would be here defending Harris. I mean, do you want me to defend Harris?
I want you to defend the politician of your choice up to a point where it makes sense. When you know, listen, I lean left, but when somebody on the left does something that's ridiculous, I'm not going to defend that shit. I mean, when you're getting to the point where just in effort to defend Trump, you're entering the realm of ridiculousness. That's what I'm saying. Defend.
That's the wrong word. I'm just trying to explain Trump. I'm not trying to defend him sometimes. I just
when you
can't
won't
explain him
even
because you have a hard time understanding him.
When you ever heard of the phrase "the Democrats don't know what a woman is"? When you get to the point where you're trying to defend him so much you won't even answer what revenge is, you're going too far. When you start,
I can tell you what revenge is. I just think what he's doing.
You wouldn't even define. You were trying to defend him so much you wouldn't even define what revenge. I don't know what revenge means. That's what you said.
One last thing. Earlier you said something about Nikki Haley being a centrist, and that's why we didn't want her. The reason we didn't want Nikki Haley or DeSantis is not because they were center or left or whatever.
They weren't
it's
Trump.
because they were too fucking establishment. She's definitely establishment. She had fucking a job on the board of fucking Boeing and all this shit. She's establishment and DeSantis is too establishment.
I don't know how you could look at Trump with all of those tech gurus in the Oval Office giving him all them compliments and kissing his ass and then say Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis are too establishment. I mean, Trump is hanging around all of the elite at this point. Personal phone numbers and everything.
That wasn't before he won. They were all fucking against him before he won.
Then you might as well have voted for Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis because you definitely got an establishment guy in there now. I mean, he's doing exactly what you're talking about. Why they didn't vote for Haley and Sanders? I mean, he's doing exactly that. He's deep within the establishment.
No, they're guaranteed establishment. With him, he's a little bit of everything. He's a little establishment. He's a little MAGA. He's a little everything. That's why everyone thinks it's like him cursing out people and being mean. No, it's because he's a little bit of everything. That's why everyone sees something in Trump that they could relate to, that the other politicians haven't copied, and they're copying the wrong things with him. They're copying him being mean and all this shit. That's not what makes him popular. It's just the fact he's a little bit of everything. A little bit of asshole, a little bit nice, a little bit left, a little bit right, little everything. He used to be a Democrat, now he's Republican. He's one day with Israel, the next day with the Arabs, getting a free plane from Qatar. He's all over the place, and he's not beholden to any ideal. He's not gonna always do the conservative thing because he's not really a conservative, but he's not a liberal either. So he's a little bit of everything. Am I right or wrong?
I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't even have an answer for that shit. All right, MAGA, appreciate you coming through. All right, he's right. Trump is all over the place, but I think people like Trump because they like Trump. Listen, you know what the Democrats stand for. Whether you like the Democrats or not, you know what they stand for, pro-choice. A lot of them stand for common sense, gun laws, freedom of religion, social programs, universal health care, shit like that. You know what the Republicans stand for. Small government, 2A rights. They're pro-life, pro-Christianity. You know what the Republican Party stands for. You don't know what Trump stands for. Nobody knows what Trump stands for. Trump can tell you he wants to do A and tomorrow do B. And the difference is because the Trump supporters don't stand on principle, they stand on Trump. So Trump can finagle and go all over the place, and MAGA will just follow him because they're not operating based on principle. They're operating based on what Trump thinks. So if Trump says, I think North Korea is getting out of hand, we need to really start looking into maybe some military action to get them under control, MAGA's going to go, yay, we got a tough president. If he says tomorrow we need to reach out and stop getting in wars and reach out and talk to Kim Jong-un and see if we can establish some kind of dialogue between, they're going to be with that too. It really doesn't matter what he does. I mean, because think about what he's done since he's been in office. He started out suggesting that the Russians were the victim in the Ukraine-Russian war. We needed to stop helping the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are the ones that started the war, is what Trump, MAGA was following right along with that. Now Trump is starting to see Russia as the enemy. MAGA's following right along with that too. So they're not even really picking, what to think on this. They're just kind of going along with what he says. He's talked about Netanyahu should finish the job in regards to Gaza, making Gaza the Riviera of the Middle East. Then he started talking about Netanyahu's going too far. MAGA's following, it doesn't matter. He's flipping all over the place. MAGA's going along with it. He talked about imposing those huge tariffs on Liberation Day. A few days later, he suspended them again, lowered them significantly. MAGA's just following along. Hey, he's playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers. You don't even know the next move yourself. You're just following along with him. He's playing chess. He may be a terrible chess player. You don't even know. You just, whatever he does, I'm good with that. So I do believe that, and I see somebody in my comments, I think yesterday or the day before, they said, always bet on Trump. 99% of the time you'll win. So we just go with Trump. Don't matter what he's doing. We just know he has likely the best vision for America. So we just follow him wherever he's going. But that's what I'm saying, is that the Democrats stand on left-wing principles. The Republicans stand on right-wing principles. MAGA stands on Trump. Doesn't matter if it's right, left, center, whatever. It doesn't matter if it changes tomorrow. MAGA just follows that. Doesn't matter whatever it is. The Epstein list, for instance, when you look at how MAGA felt about the Epstein files coming out before Trump got elected versus how they feel about it now, it's pretty clear. Just going along with Trump. They were gung-ho that shit needed to come out. They're not very gung-ho anymore, because Trump isn't gung-ho either. So they just kind of go along with President Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene has seen who he says he's everything. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene is pushing back hard. Marjorie Taylor Greene may end up turning into a rhino. Marjorie Taylor Greene gonna fuck around and get attacked. Trump can make Marjorie Taylor Greene go away like that. He can make her go away like that. The difference, though, is Marjorie Taylor Greene is in a very secure red district. So she's an ally to President Trump. So I don't know if he's going to make her go away, but he could. If he starts speaking negatively of Marjorie Taylor Greene, because keep in mind, Liz Cheney of Wyoming had a lot more adoration and support of the Republican Party than Marjorie Taylor Greene did. She could have been a congresswoman for the rest of her life, and Trump made her go away like that. So if he can make Liz Cheney go away, and keep in mind, her dad was a very well-respected Republican vice president, and he still made her go away and made her dad go away. So if he can do that to Dick Cheney and Marjorie Taylor Greene, he can in Liz Cheney, he can absolutely make Marjorie Taylor Greene go away. Before you know it, MAGA will be calling her an idiot. They'll be saying she don't know what she's talking about, all of that shit. He can make her easily go away. People got to stay open-minded. I've never agreed with everything what a president does. Now, nobody agrees with everything a president does. But I think in Trump's case, MAGA literally will just, I mean, what has Trump did that's really significant that MAGA had a problem with? I haven't seen anything. I mean, and I'm talking about some serious shit, like talking about running for a third term openly. That's obviously unconstitutional. I don't know, maybe they view it like the picture I got posted here. Well, he's just joking about it. I mean, he's joking about U.S. cities being taken over. He's joking about violating the Constitution. I mean, he's doing some pretty serious shit. I mean, you don't get a third term, sir. This is not something you should, quote unquote, joke about. He's joking about a third term. Well, he's just joking. I mean, so he's telling some pretty hardcore jokes, and MAGA's just like, so what? Yeah, it's the Constitution, but hey, he's joking. Some of us are concerned about the Chinese students. What do you mean? I could be wrong. Woke could be fascist, but why isn't Trump fascist at the same time? Because he's Trump. They're going to listen. You're going to hear that Trump is not taking away anybody's rights or doing anything wrong up to it actually starting to happen. Like when Trump got elected, the right, particularly MAGA, was adamant. Ain't nobody losing rights under Trump. He ain't taking away nobody's rights. Then the minute he started talking about criminalizing flag burning, which is a First Amendment free speech right that the Supreme Court ruled on twice and said it's part of your First Amendment rights, MAGA suddenly went from he ain't taking away nobody's rights to, well, you really shouldn't have had the right to do that to begin with. That's kind of wrong and unpatriotic anyway. So he just convinced you that it's okay to take away a right. You went from he ain't taking away nobody's rights to suddenly, well, that you really shouldn't have the right to do that anyway. So what else might he be able to convince you of? You really shouldn't have had the right to marry another man anyway. You really shouldn't have had the right to terminate a baby's life in a liberal state anyway. I mean, there are other things out that you could easily convince MAGA that you shouldn't have had the right to do that anyway. So understand, give it time. King Finn.
So I'm gonna go back really quick and I'm gonna answer a couple questions. MAGA reacts. Yes, I did know about Liz Cheney because unlike you, I'm not an immigrant. I've been here and I've always paid attention to the elections. Even as a child, my grandmother had me at the polls because she was in the Black Democratic Caucus from Michigan. So yes, I did know who Liz Cheney was a long fucking time ago. I'm not a young little baby who don't know shit and who's on here running this fucking trap and maybe needs to shut the fuck up. Secondly, let me get that twisted old gutter, bogus ass, fake Sicilian ass. Any day you want to, you old, salty cracker ass motherfucker. I give me your address and I come run you.
No, don't make me. Hold on, King. No threats on the program, King.
I am not an old fake ass motherfucker who don't.
King, you gotta let me in here, man. You gotta let me in here.
You follow a fake ass dictator who don't know shit, and nothing about that picture is fucking funny.
Okay, King, I've never muted anybody, but King, you gotta let me in here, first of all. Second of all, don't threaten the guests. God damn. You literally are threatening the man. Okay, don't threaten the guests on the program, man. I mean, I don't normally like to mute anybody, but you wouldn't let me in there at all. No threats to the guests. You can chastise, criticize, but don't threaten the guests, man. Don't do that. You threaten to come to somebody's crib. All right, go ahead. What happened there? I'm trying to unmute you. I've never muted anybody before. Never done this shit. I hate to do it. And now it won't let me do it. Okay, there we go. Go ahead.
Fall off a short cliff very fast.
What?
I don't give a shit. He can fall off a short cliff very fast.
Okay, you can say that, but don't threaten to go to the guy's crib and shit.
Don't bring my fucking name up if you don't want me to come at your ass. Because you talking out the side of your motherfucking neck. Ain't nothing funny about that fucking picture. Period, point blank. Because his old ass wouldn't want it done in his fucking city. There's nothing funny about that picture. No, well, you know what? I'm lying. There is something funny about that picture. Because Trump's old fat ass wish he could bend down like that.
Well, in defense of MAGA reacts, he did admit this is a poor taste joke. He did say it's important. It took him a while to get there, but he did admit it was important.
Of course it is. Everything Trump does is a poor taste of a fucking joke. His whole presidency is a poor taste of a fucking joke. The reason MAGA likes him is because they're okay with the shit that he does. He's making it okay for America to be racist again. That's what he's doing. Make America Great Again is the project to make America racist again. That's all he's done. Because all you fucking see it here in the news, and maybe, people like MAGA Reacts don't know this, because, he's clouded down in Florida, by that gigantic trailer park he lives in. But all he's done is made it okay for people to do racist ass shit everywhere around this fucking country. And if it ain't happening in your city, don't worry, baby boy, it will. Pretty soon somebody come say something racist as fuck to you if they haven't already. Because the only thing you do is come on Tim's show, because he's probably the only person who lets you talk that garbage ass bullshit to come out your mouth.
Well, I like to let the guest speak. So I mean, but he was playing press with it. But he did admit his job, he believes, is just to defend Trump no matter what. Which
he didn't have a choice, and that's all MAGA does. They just defend the bullshit. They continuously defend the bullshit. Just like that whole false narrative they put out a couple weeks ago when that fucking mass unaliving happened up here in Minneapolis. Oh, he was a trans guy. And now they got to walk that shit back because nothing about him was trans. Just like that bullshit he said on the fucking news the other day. Oh, we should take all the guns away from the trans people. How about we start with a different category of people? How about we start with the motherfuckers running around with ARs?
That's that's another one. Just like I was saying, is that they're ignoring things that Trump says. When I said talking about running for a third term and joking about, if you got them suggesting that they want to start taking guns away from some American citizens, something that they've been chastising the left for forever. Now all of a sudden he starts talking about taking guns away from trans, and MAGA don't seem to have a problem with that at all. This is what I'm talking about. He is threatening. They are threatening to take away constitutional rights. But real quick in the comments before we continue, King Finn, someone in the comments said, I wanted to read that comment. It said that they were MAGA, and they said that they're no longer MAGA because Trump, he said, you are correct. Trump is targeting brown people. He says, he's not lying. I was pro-Trump, not anymore. I'm still a Republican, though, but he's 100% targeting brown people. That's universal power. Wow.
Let me just tell you, for all you MAGA who were MAGA before, I personally, it's probably going to really, it might lose me some friends, but I personally think you motherfuckers should have to wear a scarlet letter. Because I don't want you, if you are okay with this shit at any time, that shit's not okay. The conservative establishment Republicans, we need to go back to that. How about we make politics boring again? How about we do that shit? Because I remember when people thought politics was boring as hell because they do the same old shit over and over and over again. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with not having having my leader do the same shit another president did.
It's interesting it's interesting you bring that up. I had a taste of that recently when Trump went from almost a week without being in the limelight last week. I started having a hard time coming up with material because politics was getting boring again. I mean, he was gone for a week, and for a short time, nothing crazy was coming out. He wasn't saying wow shit. It did get boring for about 3 or 4 days. I mean, I still did lives, but I was like, damn, you can notice it. I mean, because he does so many wild things like this apocalypse picture and shit like that. Every day he's doing crazy shit like that. When he disappeared for almost a week, you could notice it. It was different.
But didn't it feel good for once
to
not have to know that your president is one of the stupidest people walking this fucking earth? You have to understand, dog. Really look at the times of what's going on. They are literally reestablishing the axis of evil over in the East.
Yeah.
Russia, North Korea, and China are walking together. Do you get that? You see how consequential that's gonna be in the next couple of years when this idiot motherfucker either God don't like ugly, so I'm not gonna say what I want to say. But when he moves on or transitions or some fucking where else, maybe aliens will come get this goofy motherfucker or something. I don't know. But when he move the fuck on and we get a different president, you know how consequential that's gonna be? Yeah. They're gonna, dude, come on, dog. They gonna pull oil. It's gonna be people. Canada don't like us. Mexico don't like us. Nobody in the fucking world likes America.
I don't know, King. I don't think it's that they don't like America. I think they don't like Trump. I think somebody like Canada, our relationship with Canada can be repaired, but we're probably gonna have to apologize to them. I mean, like with plenty of these countries, if we make it up to them, but yeah, Trump is making it so that folks are viewing us differently. Now, the citizens of Canada, the citizens of Mexico, yeah, they see MAGA on TV talking about we don't need Canada and Mexicans can get the fuck out. They see that. So I guess you're kind of right. These countries are starting not like us.
On the world stage, you said it plenty of times yourself. People don't see Trump. They see America. People are not laughing at just Trump. They're laughing at America. You stupid, goofy motherfuckers hired a game show host as a president.
I stand corrected. You are right. They do see it. They do see us.
Back in Reagan days, when Reagan was an actor and we elected him to be a motherfucking president, they were clowning us. They are again. Except this time, they're right. Reagan gave a shit about America. Reagan actually tried to do a lot of shit. And what was Reagan known for? Gorbachev, take those walls down. And what happened? He took the fucking walls down. He tried his hardest to do some things for America. Jimmy Carter died and went to the grave fixing up houses for homeless people. This motherfucker is going to be known for sowing decisiveness, division, and hate.
Wow.
And do you think on the world stage in history, anybody is going to think that was just him? It's going to be hard to say it was just him when we get how many people who voted for this motherfucker?
77 million.
Again. So out of the 360 million people in America who he's supposed to be working for, doing his job to work for all you motherfuckers who don't really understand what his job is, he's supposed to work for the full American people, not just for you monkeys running around in red hats. That's not his job. His job ain't to throw red meat to his base. His job ain't to deny messing around with little girls. His job ain't to go golf and spend $71 fucking million on that shit. His job is to take care of the fucking free world, which was known as America, which probably won't be known as America really soon.
Yeah.
You understand that? We're not going to be the free world. He's fucked up trade deals. We might end up being a third world fucking country because we don't make shit here. And seeing for the fact that he's not bringing back they're taking our jobs. He's not bringing back all those jobs. And if he keeps disparaging companies like Hyundai, because if you don't think that them busting that plant down in Georgia disparages Hyundai from being here, watch how quick that motherfucker closes up.
That would suck because there's a whole lot of Americans that have Hyundais.
But there are so many jobs coming back into America. You know, he went over to India and Harley Davidson went over there. And he went over there and told them to bring that plant back. Where's the Harley Davidson plant, dog? Toyota's coming over here. Toyota ain't coming over here. Toyota went to Canada and started making cars up and started building plants up in Canada because they don't have terrorists up. They don't have the terrorists. They don't have to worry about the terrorists up in Canada. Because Canada's doing smart shit. Where's the shipyard? Where's the ships that's supposed to be being built in Canada? Being built
I will just say this in somewhat of defense of Trump. I will say that he was on to something by saying a lot of these countries were taking advantage of us with the export-import market. And just like with NATO, he was right in saying that these countries were not, stepping up their defense budget. The problem is, he decided to attack everybody at once. I'm not saying, like I said, with the tariffs, I'm not saying that there may have not been some light at the end of the tunnel, certainly with China and some of these countries that were ripping us off. But the problem is taking on the whole country at the same time, or the whole planet, rather. I mean, he literally tariffed even places like Madagascar and shit like that, places we really don't trade anything with.
An island with just penguins.
Yeah.
What are the penguins? Were they gonna pay in fish?
Yeah.
Is that what's gonna happen?
Yeah. He literally. I'm not comparing them to Hitler when I say this, but I always say Hitler could have been far more successful if he didn't take on the whole world at once. I mean, if he had just, took over a country, occupied it, and kept moving around, he could have been a lot more successful. And that's the same thing with Trump. I mean, you got people flanking you from everywhere. I mean, you got too many enemies at the same time. You can't do all that in the span of 7 to 8 months.
Maybe if he had some people around him that knew what he was doing, knew what to do, knew what they were doing, or maybe if he had the qualifications for the fucking job he pulled, the job he wanted to get. Maybe we should say that Trump was a DEI hire. Can we say that? Because Trump might have been a DEI hire.
He has Trump has the credentials to be president at this point.
Well, I don't know because wait, even though he's on TV lying to everybody, telling them that groceries are going down, I don't see no motherfucking groceries going down. He's lying and telling everybody that gas is going down. I don't see no motherfucking gas going down. The stock market is steadily plunging.
Well, I'm going to say I think even Trump supporters, even MAGA will admit he's not always honest. I mean, he said gas was $1.98 a gallon. Now MAGA just let that kind of roll off the tongue, but he did say it. That's not true. I mean, so listen, when it comes to Trump, Any numbers he give you, if those numbers can be used to benefit him, expect those numbers to be inaccurate. Whether it's his height and weight during the mugshot, his inauguration size, you know, how many votes he won an election by, even if he lost. Any numbers that Trump gives you, expect those numbers to be exaggerated. Day one, even came down to Golden Escalator, said he was worth $15 billion. Everybody believes that's now an overestimate. So he exaggerates. We know that already. Or lies. It's a lie, basically.
How about we start here? How about we start right here? See, let's not even talk about his policies because he doesn't have any. Let's start at the base of being a good human being. How about we start at the base of being a presidential person? How about we start at that base? Can we, you know,
you didn't vote for that. We didn't vote for that.
Nothing he does is presidential.
Yeah, but the problem
because I'm not even talking about him dookie on himself all the time. I'm not talking about the way his flatulence can clear a fucking courtroom. I'm not even talking about the massive amount of money that he's wasted in the first fucking 8 months of his presidency. We're not even going to start there. How about we just start with a presidential character? The reason you don't have anybody else to compare to when you look at that picture behind you and say that maybe they made a joke like that is because that ain't no fucking joke.
No,
number one. Number two, it's not funny when you're the president to make jokes like that because waging war against an American city, you know, the country of 360, million people that you're supposed to be the president of is not funny. It's not funny to do things like send the National Guard to a whole city, you know, to quote unquote help with crime when they ain't doing shit, number one, because he's not addressing the problem of crime. He's just sending a whole bunch of motherfuckers out there with guns. Didn't we try that when Katrina hit? They sent the fucking National Guard and everybody had their guns out, and that big ass, loud ass light skinned general went down there and told them to put their fucking guns down because it's supposed to be a saving operation, a rescue operation. Well, how about we treat that the same way when we go to DC? Because criminals ain't not just doing crime because, you know, the guards there. They're not doing crime because there's an overwhelming presence of, you know, the guard there.
Yeah, the crime is going to stay low. The crime is going to stay low as long as the National Guard is there. But like you and I both agree, if you don't address the reason why crime started to begin with, the minute they leave, it's going to come right back.
They ain't doing shit.
No, they're not.
You know what I'm saying? Not doing shit. So when they go into Chicago, what's going to happen? What you think going to happen? You think the gang's going to stop selling drugs? No,
I don't. You know something? Chicago to me is different. I did a video on this on my YouTube channel, but the geographical area of Chicago's like geographically in terms of size, it's spread out, I think about 4 or 5 times the size of DC. In the south side and the west side is primarily where the crime is located, but there is plenty of crime on the north side and the west side, the loop as well. To actually cover Chicago with enough national, it's going to be thousands of them. It's going to be thousands. It's going to be vacant spots everywhere. The south side of Chicago is fucking huge. That's geographically the size of most big cities. I don't see how you could cover that.
You can't. But he doesn't know that because, you know, all the people around him tell him, yeah, you can do that. But they, you know, obviously they've never been to Chicago or they really don't give a shit. It's just like he's saying people, you know, we're sending people down to New Orleans. Well, he only did that as a fucking participation trophy so he could say he's doing it in the red state. And all he's sending them people down there to do is to protect all the red line motherfucking neighborhoods that they wouldn't sell back to black people or they overcharged for black people. Because there are plenty of, after Katrina, because there are plenty of places like, you know, in the 9th Ward where they built all those beautiful houses down there. People are there.
Yeah, and that's what I said earlier. I said that was gonna happen in DC. I said because if you live in the hood and there's violence everywhere and shit like that, a lot of businesses, a lot of wealthy people don't want to be in your area because it's dangerous. But if you go in there and you reduce the crime and you make it where it's crime free, and all of a sudden businesses and shit coming in the neighborhood and people want to move there, it's gonna cause the rents and the price of properties and stuff to go up. So yeah, he's lowering crime in your area, but what it's going to be is he lowered crime in your old neighborhood because you ain't going to be afford to live anymore. Your rent's going to go up.
You can ask your next MAGA participant in this, you know, in this Live Your Habit, or when you get a chance, write this question down. What I want to know is, what